possibilities regarding quarterback Mac Jones. The potential destinations included the Raiders, Texans, Buccaneers, and Commanders. This comes after a report on Monday said there was lingering tension between Belichick and Jones last season. Pats owner Robert Kraft said at last week's annual league meeting that he thought the team experimented with some things last year that didn't work well for Jones. Speaking of the Pats and quarterbacks, NFL media reports longtime New England backup Brian Hoyer has signed a 2-year deal with the Raiders, reuniting with Josh McDaniels. It's Masters Week, and Tiger Woods is savoring every moment.
I don't know how many more I have in me, so just to be able to appreciate the time that I have here and cherish the memories.
Woods finished 47th last year. Groupings will be announced later today. I'm Nick Cope.
This is The Insiders, taking you inside the lines and behind the scenes of NDSU and around the region.
I hang heavy on your thoughts because you are the Bison gods.
That should be a penalty.
The Insiders.
Do you have any other questions?
You know it.
The Insiders are presented by Proceed. Need seed? Think Proceed.
Okay, so what are you saying?
These guys do an unbelievable job, and tune into The Insiders.
I did have one. I do not apologize for taking it out of the six-pack.
First thing you should know about us is that we have people everywhere.
The Insider. The Insider. The Insider.
The prices were that shocking. I wasn't listening.
I'm an old soul.
Now, here are the Insiders.
Well, we're waiting.
The wait is almost over for the Masters. We're getting closer. Welcome on in. It is the Insiders. Full house for you inside the Theraldson Ethanol Broadcast Center. I think I've made the decision just seconds ago. We're just staying here. We're not going anywhere tonight.
It's not even snowing that bad yet, Andy.
Not yet? Okay. Well,
No.
the window's blocked. We got the blinds down, so I can't see it yet.
I was just out there not that long ago.
The verge of a snow-nami.
Fine.
It's
fine right now.
snowing, but I think the ground is too warm, so it's just, when it hits, it's melting.
It's not snowing hard, so we're good.
Yet.
At 11:02 on Tuesday.
Are you talking smack to the storm that's
Yeah.
about to hit us?
Storm's weak, man.
And now we're going to get 3 feet, so that's how that works. I have heard that some of the simulations are saying it's going to be maybe moving a little bit further to the north of us, so maybe it...
Oh, I thought south. North would be
I thought north.
great.
Yeah, but it's not going to hit you directly, but still, I mean, I think you're going to get pretty good amounts of accumulation over the next couple of days. I did find it, a storm is bad when all the schools have already canceled. I mean,
NDSU's closed for 3 days.
Yeah. And they canceled the whole week, and it was Monday afternoon.
They canceled before a single flake had fallen.
Yep.
But those are the kind of storms I feel like sometimes they miss. I remember vividly in high school a couple times they would canceled school because of this big storm that was supposed to come, and then we got like half an inch or nothing. Maybe not nothing, but we've got barely anything. I'm not saying that's going to be this storm. Obviously, it's already snowing. But, there's a chance.
That we overreact a little bit.
Keep your hopes high that we get missed.
I mean, I'd rather have it be that way than get 2 feet of snow. I'd be fine with that. But we'll keep our eyes on it for you. All the latest closings, school closings, weather updates, all that kind of stuff. You can find it on our website, bison1660.com as well. We'll have that stuff for you. If there's any updates throughout the day and the night, we'll have all that stuff for you on our social media channels and also on our website, again, bison1660.com. Fun show ahead for you, though. Obviously, talking a little bit about that game from last night as UConn defeats San Diego State 76-59 because of all the dang free throws at the end. My under didn't hit. I was pumping that one up yesterday, but UConn wins it. San Diego State did make it a 5-point game with about 6 minutes to go or something like that.
Yeah, I tuned in actually right at the perfect time. I'm gonna be honest here. I had a lot of things going on yesterday. A long day. I honestly kind of forgot the game was going on, and then I was like, "Oh crap! I got to tune in." So I tune in, and it's like I tuned in right after. I forget the guy's name. UConn just hit a 3 to go up like 15. So right when I tune in, and then 3-4 minutes later, San Diego State's cut it to 6 points, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm their good luck charm. Here we go. We got a game. This is what the people wanted."
Mm-hmm.
And then UConn did what UConn does. They've kind of done this. I don't want to say in every game, but even, going back to your game with Iona in the first round, it was close for a while, right? It was close. Then they blew them out. going back to the Final Four, they played Miami, right? Correct? Yes, they played Miami. It was, they got ahead. Miami made a little bit of a run, and then they win big.
Yeah, UConn was up pretty good with 14 minutes to go in the first half.
They cut it to like 10 at a certain point, and you're like, okay, here we go. Here's a run. And then UConn proved why they were the best team in the tournament by far. I don't want to say one of the most dominant. I don't want to have recency bias and say, oh, yeah, this was the most dominant run ever because they didn't play the number ones. But they won every single game by double digits, and they were undefeated on the season against non-conference opponents. They had a little bit a dip there during the season, but this was a really good team with some NBA guys that they put some perfect pieces around, and they had a very dominant run. Probably not what everyone wanted to see. I still think the more that I look at it, Andy, we talked about this yesterday. Is this too late? Yes, it was absolutely too late. What time did the game end? Like 10:45?
Yep.
We were texting. We were 10:45. The game gets over Central Time, so 11:45 on the East Coast. I just think it was too late, and it's a Monday night.
And by the time everyone loves one shiny moment, right? Like the video that was literally after midnight on the East Coast. You would have to stay up past midnight.
I just don't get it. I mean, that's your prime.
And UConn was in it. On the East Coast.
Got to get a CBS executive on here to talk about, why 8:25, right? That was a tip-off, 8:25 Central. Just seems too late. But anyway, congrats to UConn. It's still – we were talking before, like, I'm interested to see the ratings. I think the women's game might have beat it, and rightfully so.
I think there's a chance, yeah.
It was – you had the star power with Caitlin Clark, everything that we talked about yesterday that was going on with the women's game. Everyone was talking about it. People are still talking about the women's game. And I checked on – I was scrolling Twitter after the game just to see, people talking about this game. Not really. I know people were, but at least not what I found.
Yeah, it was
not
like,
a ton.
Historical run, congratulations, 5th championship, all that kind of stuff.
Like, UConn won again by double digits.
Yeah.
Kind of what everyone thought UConn would kind of run through the Final Four. Usually it doesn't happen that way. That's exactly what happened.
It was maybe the only thing that was predicted to happen
happened.
The entire tournament, and you can kind of do that strange back and forth, right? Of it's been an unpredictable tournament. So the only thing that's been predictable is unpredictability. So this means that FAU is going to win it, or that San Diego State was going to win last night. 'Cause it's always been unpredictable, but maybe the unpredictability was so unpredictable that the predictable thing happened. Well, I just confused myself saying it, but predictable thing of UConn winning happened.
You lost me 20 seconds ago.
Perfect. But probably lost our audience before that.
UConn they were the one. People were pointing to UConn. I almost picked them to get upset too. I was like, I don't know. Like, people were pointing to Duke, right? Like, as a 5 seed, everyone felt good about Duke. Everyone was saying UConn was playing really well, so you just assumed they were going to get upset. They didn't. Yeah, they ran the table, and they were the only team that I think people were high on that actually performed well. No one else had, like 37 people, at least according to ESPN, got the Final Four, right? But other than that, no one had the Final Four. No one would have predicted, FAU, Miami, San Diego State. Some people had UConn. That was the only thing that you could have predicted in this tournament.
And congratulations to all of our winners, especially Mr. N. Walsh, the winner of the Bison 1660 Bracket Challenge. We'll be reaching out to those winners throughout the day here and getting you everything for the prizes. But big thanks to everyone that played along with our Bison 1660 Bracket Challenge. Obviously, the sponsors as well of Jim Beam and On the Rocks Premium Crafted Cocktails. And shout out again to our winner. Pick the winning team, which is not an easy thing to do. My brackets usually aren't very good. I will say I have picked the winner 2 of the previous 4 years before this year's tournament, so I'm 2 of the previous 5, I guess. But not an easy thing to do, and he also picked a lot of other things right throughout the tournament as well. So thanks to everyone that played along. That was a great little tournament, fun stuff there. A lot of people beat me. Quite a few people beat Micah, not as many as beat me, and not that many people beat Kyle in our bracket challenge, at least.
Congratulations to us as well for not cracking open these On the Rocks premium cocktails in the Jim Beam. Has been sitting in front of us for a month, and we've left it alone.
Mm-hmm.
So the winner's gift is still intact fully.
Didn't replace it with anything else.
We didn't have to replace it.
The seals are still on there.
Yes, they are.
Absolutely
are. Congratulations to us as well.
But big thanks to Jim Beam. Jim Beam Orange is phenomenal, and On the Rocks premium cocktails. You got the Cosmopolitan, the Old Fashioned, the Margarita, and the Espresso Martini as well. Some great stuff there from On the Rocks and Jim Beam. We'll get those prizes out to all of our winners here coming up. But you did mention the ratings, and we don't know it yet for the men's. We'll get that probably come out later today or tomorrow or something like that. I haven't seen it. Maybe I can try and find it. But the women's game, LSU and Iowa, obviously it's record-breaking for the women's tournament. The whole women's tournament ratings were record-breaking, and they continue to go up every single year. But the national championship game of Iowa versus LSU had a max viewership at the highest point of 9.9 million viewers, also blowing away the semifinal game between Iowa and South Carolina, which was 6.3 or something like that. So a big jump there. I think there were, obviously the Caitlin Clark effect it was a big reason for it. Not the only reason, but a big reason. I think a lot of people who probably said, oh, this has been a nice run for Caitlin Clark, but they're going to lose against South Carolina, didn't bother to watch the game, and then what happened, and they're like, well, now I've got to watch. They FOMO, fear of missing out, of seeing her do something again, which was ridiculous. So I think a lot of people tuned in for that. The total audience is a 103% jump from last year's ratings. Their championship game between South Carolina and UConn last year was 4.85 million on ESPN and ESPN2. The audience on Sunday at one point during the women's game between Iowa and LSU peaked at 12.6 million viewers. That's a lot.
That's incredible. What was the game on ABC last year or just ESPN?
Last year was on ESPN and ESPN2, and this year it was on ABC and ESPN.
So I think that plays into it. That probably played into it a little bit as well. I think having it on a Sunday when there's not a lot else going on. There was XFL was going on. There was some golf going on. But having it on a Sunday when people are kind of sitting around and looking for some sports entertainment also helped. And I think that's why I was brought up yesterday. It just seemed too late.
Yeah.
I don't think they're helping. I think they're just kind of assuming it's such a big event that people will tune in no matter when it is.
LSU, that national title game was the first one televised on network television since UConn beat Tennessee in 1995. Wow. So the first one to be on ABC network television there. That game in 1995 averaged 7.4 million. So this one was 9.9. So obviously that's quite a few more, 2.5 million more there. But that's pretty. 1995 7.4. That's maybe even more of a surprising number. Quite honestly, with where the game has come since 1995.
The population difference between now and 1995 and everything. Yeah. So yeah.
But also back then, I guess Tennessee was running women's basketball, Pat Summitt and everything, and then UConn comes with Gino Auriemma, Clash of the Titans, all that kind of stuff for that championship game. But 9.9 peaked at 12.6 million. That is phenomenal ratings, and we'll see what the men's one comes out as, because I wouldn't be shocked if it's less. I really wouldn't. And I think part of it is I've never been a huge fan of the one and done rule with college basketball. It's not everyone says college basketball ruined it by making that rule. They didn't make that rule. The NBA made that rule. The NBA said we're not going to draft people until they are a year out of high school, and that basically meant you had to go to college for a year. So the NBA created the one and done rule in college basketball. I tend to agree that it'd be better without it. If you just let the top players leave from high school right to the NBA, they'd still get drafted high. You'd have all that. And a huge reason why the women's game is so popular right now and continuing to grow in popularity, which is a great thing, is because they have to stay. Caitlin Clark's coming back next year. Angel Reese is coming back for a couple more years. She's a sophomore. Caitlin Clark can come back for 2 more if she wants because of a COVID year as well. These players are coming back. The rivalry people are talking about now, other than you have team rivalries, but you don't have player-on-player rivalries in the men's game.
No,
you have a player versus player rivalry.
You
in the
see it a little
game
bit in the NBA, maybe.
Yes,
you don't. I'm trying to think of the last time you had a good one in college basketball, in men's college basketball. When was the last one?
Player versus player rivalry.
Bird versus Magic.
Yeah, you gotta say that one for sure. Maybe Tyler Hansbrough and
JJ Redick.
Oh, Kyle Singler or something like that. I don't know if they actually played at the same time between Duke and UNC.
Yeah, you're right. I think Redick was before that.
There had to have been a Plumlee versus Hansbrough, right? There's been 4 of them.
Yeah, it might have been
like 4 of them at Duke. Someone had to.
Yeah, I'm sure there has been some, but there hasn't been for a while, for sure. You still have Duke UNC's a rivalry. You have Ohio State Michigan's a rival. They still have rivalries. You just don't have player versus player rivalries, which feels like kind of where that thing is headed with LSU and Iowa, and specifically Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Mutual respect, but also I'm sure Caitlin Clark right now wants to just beat her and beat her in a game and make sure she knows about it. I'm sure that.
Couple
competitors.
Couple you can't see me's coming up.
Yep, something like that. Maybe a new gesture in there as well. But 12.6 million peak and over a 9 million their average for the women's game. We'll see what happens in the men's ratings. We have one guest, or a couple of guests actually, today on the program. Brian Sean will join us at 11:30. Missouri Valley Mix, the first iteration of that of the year, as spring practices galore across the valley right now. UND was a playoff team a season ago. We'll get caught up with what's happening up north with B-Sean and what's happening there. Obviously, pro days as well, all that kind of stuff. So we'll get Brian Sean's take on that and on the valley at large, because B-Sean just knows so much about the entire conference. Get his thoughts as spring practices going on across all of the Missouri Valley Football Conference. And that means NDSU as well. I did stop by spring practice again today, as they got another one going there inside the No Deck Insurance Football Performance Complex.
What did you learn today?
I've now learned everything on the offensive side.
Okay.
So I mastered defense the last time. Now I've mastered the offensive side of the ball, which is going to be really fun if we have Tyler Roll on sometime. I think I'll just start throwing some buzzwords out there.
Do you have any for us?
No, I want to save them for the coach.
Put you on the spot.
I'm going to save them for the coach.
Okay.
How many formations did you see?
Oh, somewhere north of 20 to 25.
What kind of personnel were they running?
I saw some 22 for sure. Okay. 22 personnel.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What would because fullbacks are technically a running back whenever you're talking like 12. So you could technically have like 14 personnel with the 4 fullbacks in there.
Yes.
Technically, if they're lined up in the backfield, but if they're lined up at tight end, it kind of
it just depends.
That's why Hunter Lipke ruined everything, but made life difficult.
That's
It's like, what are they in?
For the other team, it's like, what personnel is this?
Maybe he lines up at tight end, and then he shifts to the backfield, and it's like, well, no, he's a running back. Now what do we do? So that was the chess piece they had that they no longer have. Is Hunter Lipke going to the NFL. Speaking of that, we will have mock draft madness a little bit later on. Todd McShay with his latest mock draft. Also, Bruce Feldman of The Athletic, his latest mock draft. Some things that might surprise you. Todd McShay went 2 rounds deep on this one as well, so maybe touch on Cody Mauch potentially if he's in that one with Todd McShay. And some interesting things with the Minnesota Vikings that is now starting to become a trend as well. I'll get to that later on in the show. But I was at spring ball today, so I do have a couple more players. I'm going to try and take my gaze away from Reggie King for a second. Let him get going a bit, not put too much pressure on the kid. A few more things and a few more individuals I saw that I think are going to play a factor for NDSU, whether it be this year or the future. And I think both of them could definitely play a factor this season. But I spoke with Hunter Zenzen at practice today, transfer in from Iowa State, can be playing defensive end from Barnesville, Minnesota, high school, playing with his brother here now as well, Caden. Interesting thing there is Caden's a tight end, Hunter's a D end. I mean, one-on-one, they're just going at it right now. We don't have too many brothers. Actually, have another pair that are tight end and defensive end on the roster, but I don't have too many brothers throughout NDSU history. I don't think, at least I can go back and check, that you've had brothers, but they haven't literally lined up against each other. Like Jabril and Jasir never did.
Right.
The Volsons never.
Eli and Will are on the same side of the ball.
Exactly. Yeah. Like,
trying to think.
This is one-on-one. We're going at each other. So older brother versus younger brother, sibling rivalry.
I'm sure there's been a couple, but none come to the top of mind. I think of like not that this was NDSU, but like a teammate of mine, Derek Watt, and he was a fullback, and he's going against his brothers who are defensive ends, things like that. But, I don't know if it's happened at NDSU.
Happens in the NFL every once in a while, but at NDSU it's kind of rare. So that was interesting, and talked to him about that. So we'll hear that conversation around noon. Mekhi Collins also spoke with the media a little bit, so a little bit of some back and forth there between the media members and Mekhi Collins. We'll play that for you later on in the program as well. I think both of those individuals also are going to be contributing. I think that's one thing that stood out to me a little bit, and to other people as well. Mekhi Collins, when you're looking him up, he's 6'4", 212, like legitimate size. He's put on some weight since he came to NDSU as well. Looks the part out there. He's just someone that I think is going to get used. And we've been talking about receivers, and I know we've had guys like Sam Herder on before, and the national reporters are like, I always hear about how good the NDSU receivers are, but with how much they run the ball, we never see it in a game. I hear about it, but I never see it. And
I get that from those people's perspectives, but I think Mekhi Collins is going to be special. I think he's going to be a really good player. Still young. This is still just redshirt freshman guy going through first spring ball, going into year number 2 here. But I think he's going to be a really special player and someone at that receiver position that has the size and the physicality, but also the breakaway speed and the ability to go deep down the middle of the field or down the sidelines as well and make some tough catches. So excited about his future. That kind of stood out to me. And then Hunter Zenzen as well, a guy coming over from Iowa State. He's gotten a lot stronger since the high school days for sure, and a great tackler when he was in high school, phenomenal pass rusher. I think he will contribute pretty early on. I think he's someone you'll see in that rotation on the defensive line.
Yeah, I do too. And, going back to the receivers, I think we're all excited about it. We've been talking about Mekhi Collins and Carson Hagerly now for well over a year because they were such high-touted wide receivers. And like you said, you think about NDSU and you think about running the ball. We have had a lot of good wide receivers as well. And I think that's kind of a stacked room a little bit this year, especially if you can get some contribution from some of those young guys that we're talking about that we haven't seen yet. If they can get into the fold, if they're going to rotate wide receivers, does the passing game become that weapon that we all want to see? And we've seen it in the past, but maybe not as consistent as we wanted a year ago when teams stack the box and it's hard to run the football. Can you get some of those wide receivers into the fold? And and Hunter Zenzen, I think defensive line is always a position where you need guys, you need bodies, and you need multiple guys that can contribute, not just come in and spell a guy for 3 or 4 plays, but can you come in and be an impact player? I think he has that opportunity.
Absolutely. Hunter Zenzen, for those wondering, 6'2", 246. He's got size to him. He's got legitimate size that can hold up, hopefully, in the trenches, and I think he's someone that can contribute early on. He's taken over number 99. I just love the 99s out there on the field, so that's a cool number for him. But I got a chance to talk with him. We will play that one back again later at noon, so make sure you're listening for that one. I think both of those guys are going to be some impact players for you. And maybe spill the beans on some other things I learned because, you know me, master of the offensive side now, for sure.
We'd love to hear
football. I'll tell you later on. No doubt about that one. But right now, let's get some. You ready? Masters theme music. We got to have something back there because I wanted to get these pairings out there because this is Kyle Emanuel. This is Masters Week. This is Tuesday of Masters Week, and we do have official pairings to announce. I know this is something you were waiting with bated breath.
I actually was. I'll be honest, a little disappointed in the pairings.
Really?
Just a little bit. Okay. I was hoping for some drama. Now the Masters probably wants to avoid that. I was hoping for a Rory and a Patrick Reed.
Yeah, you're not going to get that.
Say that for the weekend.
Or a Bryson and a Tiger or something like that.
Save it for Sunday.
That can happen, but no one has control over that. That's all based on your score.
Exactly. So just let it happen organically. They both rise to the top of the leaderboard. But the Masters pairings, by the way, Masters Golf Giveaway Challenge, you can still enter. You got to pick the top 8 of the leaderboard. Whoever gets the most right in the right spot will win a 30-day free pass to Golf Addiction. Make sure you sign up before the first round gets going on Thursday for a Masters Golf Giveaway with Golf Addiction. Again, a free 30-day pass to golf as much as you want at Golf Addiction on their great simulators. And you're in the drawing then for a brand new golf bag from Golf Addiction as well. We'll touch in with Johnny Miller of Golf Addiction later on in the week on Thursday and Friday. But a couple of the pairings that stood out to me, first off, I think you got to go with where is Tom Hoagie? Who is he golfing with? And it's a pretty good group.
That was a good one.
You're talking about Liv. There's some Liv flavor in the group with Tom Hoagie. He will be teeing off on Thursday in Group 22 at 11:24 a.m. Central Time. We'll have it. It'll be shot for shot. Tom Hoagie's round right here on the Insiders. We'll try to keep you up to date
right now. 2 days away.
Right now. Literally 2 days away from this exact moment. Tom Hoagie with Siwoo Kim and Phil Mickelson. Lefty. Phil Mickelson and Tommy. There we go.
Phil Mickelson's struggling to shoot par on live municipal courses, public courses that anyone can go play. I don't know if you saw any of their event last week. It wasn't the nicest course in the world, and Phil was struggling to shoot par there. I don't have high expectations for him, but he's a three-time Masters winner.
He plays better on the better courses.
He plays better. He
plays up to his course competition.
He obviously likes Augusta. Talked about it a couple days ago. Augusta. It seems like it's set up better for left-handers because there are a lot of shots that need to move right to left. It's easier to hit a cut than a draw usually, so it's easier for left-handers to hit a cut off the tee. So he's played well there before. I don't know. I don't think he's in great form, though, to say the least. So, hopefully old Tom Hoagie can take it to him a little bit in those first 2 rounds.
That would be awesome. So you go head to head, not head to head, but you're in the same group, so you are kind of going head to head a little bit. And if Tom Hoagie were to finish with a better round than Phil Mickelson,
I think he will. I think that's a safe bet.
I think it is. I think Tom's second time playing a course. You know it a little bit more. Maybe you take some risks that you didn't take before. You take some different shots. So that was an interesting one for Tom, of course. I love some of these other pairings. I think the one with Dustin Johnson's interesting. Justin Rose and Corey Connors with Dustin Johnson at 12:12 our time as well, Group 26. The Young Bucks all together, Matthew Fitzpatrick, Colin Morikawa, and Will Zalatoris in Group 27 at 12, just after 12:20 our time as well. Be teeing off there in the middle of the second hour of the show. That's a phenomenal group. I don't know who you'd pick out of that one to have the best round.
Will Zalatoris is so interesting because he was playing so well in majors. He's been so close. Honestly, he should have like 2 at this point.
Been second in a bunch of them.
But he just hasn't been able to get over the hump. And now he had a back injury and he's coming back and he just hasn't been the same. I would have loved to have. I almost wonder, is this his breakout party a little bit? Okay, I'm back a little bit. But, yeah, he's been struggling a little bit. Morikawa's interesting as well, too. I just talked about, the different tee shots. He finished 5th last year, had a good final round. Him and Rory both did. I think he's got the firepower to do it. But I don't know if this course necessarily fits his eye. But, I don't know. He's such a good player, he's hard to count out. I would not be shocked to see him, contending.
And the one everyone's waiting for. Where's Tiger? When's Tiger going? Who's he golfing with? And of course, the TV networks know it's Tiger Woods. We're going to put him with a pretty good pairing out there.
Put him with Phil.
Yeah, that would have been something for sure.
Gosh.
I think they get along just fine.
Yeah, it would have been. That would have been. I mean, not that they really need help in the ratings department, but if you did, that would have been.
You probably don't put them together because TV networks everyone's going to tune in for both of them. Let's separate them because then you get 2 pairings everyone's going to tune in for.
True.
But 9:18, Tiger Woods will tee off in Group 12 on Thursday with Xander Schauffele and Victor Hovland. Star-studded pairing right there.
Love it.
Love that one. I think Xander always is competitive, right? He just hasn't gotten over the hump. He's usually a top 5 or top 10 guy. So
he was right there
when
Tiger
Masters
won.
Picks, he's a good guy to maybe
He
put
was
in
right there when Tiger won in 2019. I believe he might have been one of the guys that ended up in the water late in the round on Sunday. But yeah, he's always a guy. Victor Hovland too. No, Victor Hovland's interesting to me because his struggle in golf is a short game and getting up and down. The Masters greens, they have a bunch of false fronts. They have a bunch of places where you're going to miss greens and you got to be able to scramble a little bit. Can he do that? Or is his ball striking just so good that it doesn't matter? He's another interesting one.
Then our guy Adam Scott. Not that Adam Scott, but the other Adam Scott.
The other Adam Scott.
With Patrick Cantlay and Kurt Kitayama in the very next group after Tiger tees off. But Group 14, 2 groups after Tiger, going to be chasing them down throughout the day. Justin Thomas, John Rahm, and Cameron Young at 9:42. That one also, you could have your Masters champ out of that group.
I think you could too. I was going to say that one might have an argument for the most talent in one group. You look at John Rahm playing. Well, he's kind of cooled off a little bit, but he was absolutely the hottest golfer to start the year. Cameron Young just had a really good match play. Ended up losing in the final, but he's played really well. And then, everyone knows about Justin Thomas.
Yeah.
Hasn't gotten it
JT.
done in the Masters yet, but he's a guy too that's hard
won
to count
a major
out.
last year.
Won a major, won the PGA Championship, so he's a guy that's a star-studded group if there ever was one.
If you're taking a live golfer, you're maybe taking Dustin Johnson or Cam Smith. Those are the top 2 guys. A lot of people would be in on Cam Smith over Dustin Johnson probably. Cam Smith at 9:54 with Sungjae Im and Hideki Matsuyama, so a very international group right there. 3 different countries represented in Korea, Australia, and Japan. But Cam Smith, if he's in your pool for our Masters Golf Giveaway or your pool anywhere else, and we encourage you, of course, Masters Golf Giveaway brought to you by Golf Addiction. Go sign up right now on our website, bison1660.com. But Cam Smith in there at 9:54. Hideki's pretty beat up. He's had some injury things going on this year. But Sungjae Im's also played really well at the Masters. So
he has. Did we mention Rory yet?
I've not gotten to the Rory one.
Rory,
you want to say it?
Rory, Tom Kim, and Sam Burns.
Sam Burns is good.
Sam Burns just won the Dell Technologies match play. Tom Kim's had, he's been a little bit up and down, but that's another good. Rory's going to be the story for basically the rest of his career until he wins here because this is the last tournament he needs to complete the sweep of the majors to become to have won all 3 Grand Slam. There we go. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, career Grand Slam.
All 4 majors. He's won the other 3. He has not won the Masters. This is his 9th try to complete the Grand Slam, and that's the one that gives me a little pause. This course sets up so well for him. He hits a high draw off the tee. His game is so complete.
He's had good rounds.
He's been in contention before. Last year is kind of backdoored it, though. He wasn't really in contention. He just had such a good last round that he ended up finishing second.
He hasn't put 4 good rounds together.
And he gets off to such bad starts.
Mm-hmm.
Can he
tread water,
get himself into contention, and then when he does, can he perform down the stretch? We saw him that in the Open. He should have won the Open probably last year. He needed to shoot like 3 under, 2 under, something like that. And didn't get it done.
And Rory, by the way, 12:48 Central Time, so right near the end of the show. The group right before Rory, defending champion Scotty Scheffler, which means, of course, with the top amateur, and Sam Bennett and Max Homa. That's a pretty good group. Max Homa's been hot. He's a big name on the tour right now for sure. At 12:36, another great group right there. So a couple of the pairings. The last one, Group 30, also very interesting. Fairway Jesus, Tommy Fleetwood was really good there a couple years ago. I felt like last year wasn't his best year on tour, but he's with Tony Finau and Jordan Spieth. The last group to tee things off there at Augusta in round number 1. Could also have your champion from there, Jordan Spieth. Won twice on Easter. Can he do it again?
He's won. I think I said this yesterday. So it's you guys. Maybe we weren't on air, but like if he got last place or if he won the whole thing, wouldn't be surprised either way. That's just what Jordan Spieth does. I think last year he like missed the cut at the Masters and then like won the next week or something crazy like that. Like it's just kind of what Spieth does. He might shoot 2 over on the first day and then he might shoot 7 under the next day. You just never know with Jordan Spieth. He's been so up and down lately, but if he can catch fire, I mean, this is a place that he should have won back-to-back. He kind of blew it in 2016, but if he can find a way to not even 4 rounds, if he can play 3 good rounds, I think Spieth could be there on Sunday.
That whet your appetite for the Masters at all?
Yeah, I'm good. I figured. Appreciate that.
That satisfied you
or
for a
my
little
golf
bit.
polo today,
I got
just
that.
for that.
Even a little green on it as well, so perfect for you. There's the pairings for you. Again, Tom Hoagie golfing with Phil Mickelson in the opening couple of rounds, teeing off at 11:24 Central Time on Thursday. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Brian Sean will join us next to go around the Missouri Valley Football Conference on the other side.
Champions play here.
You're vice president material. You're vice president material.
Bison 1660.
I think what makes Proceed win is we're different than the other companies in many ways with our programming, our simplicity, our non-corporate attitudes, and our personal relationship building.
What Proceed is, we bring back the old-fashioned seed buying experience. We're true seedsmen. We care about everything from the sale to the planting to following up afterwards. That's what we're all about, is just trying to bring that experience back to a personal level.
Need seed? Think Proceed. Proceed.net. Great seed at a reasonable price.
Rice Companies understands that strong buildings and strong communities start with strong connections. They know the importance of every bolt, every beam, and every handshake. Every connection must be strong. When you work with Rice Companies, you're building on more than concrete and steel. You're building on knowledge and expertise with people you can trust. People who value your investment as much as you do. Connect with Rice Companies, your local Butler builder, and experience the difference strong connections can make for your business. Learn more and see career opportunities at ricecompanies.com.
At Oxbow Country Club, the golf is just the beginning. Oxbow Country Club prides itself on being not just family-focused, but family-centric. Oxbow's golf is second to none in the area, with range balls and carts included in your membership. Oxbow also features a pool area that will have you enjoying the summer poolside with drinks and food. No matter if you're an avid golf family or just looking for a great place to socialize with the family, Oxbow is right for you. Join today at oxbowcc.com.
Cashway's in growth mode. If you're an experienced mechanic or just starting your career and want to be with a great family-owned company, Cashway is the perfect place for you. With above-average hourly pay, exceptional benefits for singles and families, plus you want to work at a job you love, consider Cashway. Now's the perfect time to take a position where you're treated like family and look forward to each day. Find out more about the open positions at the April 11th job fair at the Cashway location in Fargo, 4101 15th Avenue North. Visit Cashway.com for all the details.
Tired of striking out on the search of your dream home? Step up to the plate with Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty. Todd's expertise in the Fargo-Moorhead real estate market ensures every client has their bases covered. If you're taking a swing, why not swing for the fences? Todd Cattermas is a proud partner and the preferred realtor of NDSU Athletics. Call Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty today at 701-371-4234 or visit him at 4832 Amber Valley Parkway in Fargo. Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty.
Moving the herd, one home at a time.
Hey, business owners. You have your banker, you have your insurance guy, but do you have your door guy? Now you do. DavTech Window Services also specializes in commercial door and window repair and replacement. DavTech is proud to be known for their excellent commercial services as on the NDSU campus. Choose the door and window experts that will deliver top-rated products as well as the experienced technicians that do it right the first time. A decade of service with a century of experience. Online at DavTechWindowServices.com. That's DavTechWindowServices.com.
Are you a great electrician working for a company with a bad reputation? You deserve better. You deserve Rick Electric. In business for nearly 60 years and voted best electrical contractor in the Red River Valley 2022. Rick Electric is hiring journeyman electricians, apprentices, and service tech electricians today. Year-long full-time employment, employer-paid full family health care, paid holidays and 2 weeks paid vacation. You deserve to work for the best, and that's Rick Electric. To apply, send an email to info@rickelectric.com.
With the rising threat of cybersecurity attacks, you need to ensure your business is fully protected. Data loss, ransomware attacks, and other breaches can disrupt your business and damage your reputation. Consolidated Communications Cloud Secure Service safeguards your business from these attacks by securing your network, data, and applications. We proactively monitor your security to prevent intrusions before they compromise your IT systems while protecting your staff in the office or when working remotely. Visit consolidatedcommunications.com/cloudsecure to protect your business.
Bison 1660.
$11:37 on the Insiders. Hour number one inside the beautiful Theraldson Ethanol Broadcast Center. Theraldson Ethanol, located just west of Castleton with their great facility. You can join their growing team online at theraldsonethanol.com. Also partnering with some great companies locally to help reduce the carbon footprint and reduce the carbon emissions from their facilities. Also taking care of the environment, health conscious, environmentally conscious, and a great company over there with 175 million gallons of ethanol per year and roughly 400 tons of livestock feed per year at Theraldson Ethanol. And taking a look across the Missouri Valley, all these teams getting in spring ball. This is the time of year we're all kind of starting to talk about football a little bit. NFL does a great job of it, and really just football in general. They keep the storylines coming. They always stay in the news some way, somehow, especially now with the college basketball season officially coming to an end. And who knows when college baseball gets going, especially in this part of the country, at least. And, other places it's going on right now in NDSU baseball with a couple of road series wins to open up conference play. But around here, I don't know if it's going anytime soon, especially with the white stuff falling that's currently falling right now and going to be falling over the next couple of days. But football always in the news, so let's make it the first edition this year of the Missouri Valley Mix.
The Missouri Valley Mix.
Jump on over to the Epic Companies hotline. Bring on our good friend Brian Sean, B-Sean, Midcoast Sports. Nice enough to be with us. Texted him yesterday. He said, nice enough to join you guys. Happy to join you. All I'm doing for the next couple of days is basically being a teacher / stay-at-home dad with the young kid. And so, how's it going, Brian? How's day one of being a teacher for you?
Yeah, so far so good. She's already had lunch. She's pretty independent now, so we're just kind of hanging out. My wife's in the office. My dog's laying on the couch sleeping, which is pretty common for him. So, yeah, we're just kind of waiting to see what's gonna happen here and how bad this is gonna get, and hopefully it's not going to be too horrendous, so we can actually dig out and get back to life a little bit on Thursday and into Friday.
Now, have you done what my favorite teachers in high school did, where it was, okay, guys, today's watch a video day, and we're taking notes on the video? Is that going to be part of the curriculum for you?
It most certainly is.
Yep.
And as a matter of fact, that may be going on right now as we speak. So she's got her little tent up downstairs, and she's, like I said, man, she's pretty independent now for being 7, almost 8 years old. So she kind of has her routines and things. She knows what she needs to get done and everything else. We'll have some some fun. We'll play some games, try maybe some Legos a little bit later, try the Nintendo Wii. We'll find some stuff to do to keep us occupied, but, at the end of the day, it's just kind of getting through the next couple days so we can get back to normal life a little bit here.
There's spring football going on. That's normal, right? That's some normalcy for all of us, at least a little bit, with spring football across the valley, and obviously with UND as well. I saw you sat down with Tom Miller up there covering UND football. What were the takeaways from your guys' conversation there that you can find on Midco Sports?
Yeah, we Tom and I have talked a few different times throughout the spring, and we're always just kind of watching to see, which guys have changed their bodies around a little bit, along with some of the transfers. We're always kind of curious how some of those guys come in, how they look, and how they're moving around and kind of acclimating to everything. And then, there's guys that change their bodies around over the last few months since the season ends, and we're kind of like, oh, this guy looks a step faster. He looks like he's cut up a little bit. So, those are kind of the things you're always kind of looking to see which guys might be able to step in and play a much bigger role going into 23. And I think we've identified that between Tom and I a few of those guys. But, fortunately for UND, Andy, they've got a lot of experience back on both offense and defense. Some guys are utilizing the COVID year. That provides much needed experience, especially on the defensive side. All 5 starters are back on the offensive line. They do still have to develop some running back depth, I think, and try to find a couple more pieces maybe at tight end and receiver just to kind of develop a depth chart there. But I think that'll be the strength of the unit out of the gate going into fall camp. And then on defense, it's just trying to work out rotations on the defensive line and linebacker, and those things are still a work in progress. But they've had guys that have played there. But that is certainly going to be the focal point, is getting that unit better, because it's hard enough to win football games. It's really hard when your defense is giving up 30 points a game, and that's an area UND has to improve if they want to take the next step in the Valley.
Brian, you kind of just answered my question a little bit, but I wanted to dig into it a little bit more. When we look into spring ball, especially here at NDSU, we're looking at the secondary and all the different changes that are going on there. Is there one or two position groups, and some of the ones that you just mentioned, that UND really has to put a focal point on? Because you mentioned some of the experience coming back, but maybe there's some holes to fill, or just a position group that needs to show some improvement from last year.
Well, safety. They have to find a couple of different safeties of who they can trust on the back end. I think that's an area. They do have a guy that decided to come back in Caden Coppin, who played a lot last year, but they have to find more guys back there that they can trust a little bit. I still think you're always looking for corner depth, Kyle. You know how it is, the way the league and how football is being played, is you can never have enough corners. You need guys that can guard and defend some of the talented receivers and athletes you have that, coaches have done a good job of getting the ball to them out in space, and that's just kind of how they operate now. And that's what the challenges are, I think, for defenses, is the way offensive coordinators are calling games and putting the defenses in conflict by, what they're doing formationally. And then you have the North Dakota States of the world that just line up and, 22 personnel and say, we're going to run it down your throat, try to stop us. So it's a combination of a couple different things, but I think defensive line rotations, you have to find depth there. You have to be able to rotate guys there to keep them fresh throughout the rigors of the season. But I think safety is probably the number one area on defense that UND is going to have to find a few guys to step in. And to be honest, I'm not necessarily sure they're done looking. I would not be surprised if they added a safety even this late out of the portal going into fall, just because I think that's an area I think everybody's holding a couple scholarships back to see if they can find an impact guy. And there's still a lot of guys out there, and there may be more going into the portal here after spring ball. So that's something to kind of keep an eye on, I think, across the valley, is to see who gets added maybe to some of these rosters that can be impact guys.
That's so weird to me, and I completely agree with you. I think there's a lot of teams, not just in the Valley, I think college football at large, where it's almost an expectation of, okay, we get through spring ball, there's going to be another wave. Like, there's going to be more people that go into the portal, which just blows my mind that late in the game you think, I'm going to go into the portal and find another spot. But you're absolutely right. I think that's the case for a lot of teams across the landscape of college football. Again, Brian Shawn here with us talking UND on the Missouri Valley Mix. One storyline for NDSU is new defensive coordinator Jason Petrino, not the only team in the Valley with a new D coordinator. Joel Schwinsfire, new DC for UND. First, am I saying that correctly? I tried to listen to pronunciation. I think I got close to it. And why was he the right hire at DC?
Yeah, I think Joel's been waiting in the wings for this opportunity for a while, and he's coached almost every position group on the defense now for North Dakota. He's been on the staff for 10 years. He played there. I just think they felt like now was the right time to elevate him into that role, a guy that's clearly been around and understands the program and kind of what they have for personnel. And, based on the timing of Brett Holenka deciding to move on, it put North Dakota in kind of a strange spot because they were just getting set to start spring ball. It's a tough time to try to bring in someone new from the outside. So I think there was some tricky situations there in terms of how we're going to maneuver this. And I think Joel was the easy hire for Bubba Schweigert, and then Tom Dosh, a guy that's been coaching around this region for 30 years, was sitting right there on campus, and doing a fundraising job, and he wanted to come back to coaching, so that was an easy plug and play. And then they were able to go get Donnell Kirkwood too, who's a really good running back. If you guys remember, 7-8 years ago at the University of Minnesota, and he was at Western Illinois, and they were able to go get him after Crutchley came down to NDSU. So, there's always kind of these pieces of movement, and it's never great timing just because you want as much continuity as possible as you're getting set to start spring ball and trying to get your install in for defense and all those sorts of things. So I think that was an easier thing, and I really think Joel's going to try to simplify some things. I think maybe UND last year was trying to do a little too much, and it was tough getting everybody, all 11 guys on the same page. And I think that they may have learned something from that, is just trying to keep some of this stuff simple so everybody can play fast. And as you know, Kyle, that's a huge part of it. You want your 11 guys on D. You can't think too much. You got to get out there, read and react, and know what you're supposed to do and play fast, so that you guys can be aggressive. And that's a real key, I think, on defense with UND. And I think that's really been the focus of Joel Schwensfire coming into that role. And I'm sure Jason Petrino is going to do a lot of the same types of things. He's going to evaluate what he has. I've known Jason Petrino, by the way, a long time, probably 15 years ago when he came on as the defensive coordinator at UMary. And he's from Montana out in Helena, where my wife kind of grew up. So kind of familiar with Petrino's, and that was a really good hire for Matt Entz. I think he's going to do a really good job stepping in for David Braun. And so it's always kind of fun to see how those guys are going to develop their own styles and how they're, how they're going to maybe look different or bring their own stamp to whatever they want to do defensively.
Brian, UND, from what I'm seeing, on your Twitter, they're wrapping up spring ball. They're a little bit ahead of NDSU. NDSU's kind of just getting started. UND already kind of wrapping it up. So, they've kind of, the hay is in the barn, so to speak. Simple question, what are your biggest takeaways so far? What did they improve on, or was there any storylines that came out of these spring practices?
I think the biggest thing they had to try to find try to develop a quarterback depth. I think that's always been somewhat of a concern. Tommy Schuster, he's played a lot. I think he's played at a pretty high level, especially last year. But, who is the guy behind him in case something were to happen? And I think they figured that out. I think Trey Feeney has won that job. I at least going into fall, I think he's going to be second on the depth chart. I think he made some big leaps because you need to have a guy there that you can trust in case something happens. It's just we see so many programs go through that when the starter goes down, and no matter what the position is, but especially quarterback that handles the ball every time, you have to have somebody there that you can trust to still how to operate the ship. So I think that was a big one. I still think they're trying to figure out the tight end situation. But I think they have a couple of guys they feel pretty good about. Quincy Vaughn being one of them, who's a backup quarterback. He's taken most of the reps throughout spring at tight end. I expect him to play there and actually get a lot of playing time at that position. He's pretty natural catching the ball and moving in space. He's 250 pounds, so that was an interesting one to me. And then I think the two defensive line transfers that they brought in, I think are going to help them quite a bit. They're experienced guys, they're grad transfers. I was kind of curious how they were going to look. They look to be in shape. They look like they have pretty good size and mobility, so I think that's going to give them some depth on the D-line. And then, Wesley Elidor, I haven't talked about him, the transfer from USD. Had 6 touchdown receptions last year, 30 catches, really speedy. Add him to the room with Bellquist and some of the other pieces in the receiving corps, and I think that's a unit that should be upgraded a little bit going into the fall too. So a lot of things to watch, but it's, as you know too, guys, you still have some gains you have to make here throughout the rest of spring, and then when you come back for summer with some of those off-season workouts, you got to be ready to go. And those are where guys make a lot of gains before fall camp starts in late July. So I'm always curious to see how guys are going to change their bodies around and maybe who's going to make some of those big strides throughout June and July.
Was just going to mention Wesley Elidor, so I'm happy you did, because I think that's a good addition. And Garrett Mogg moving on, and he's been going. It looks like he's gotten some hype in terms of the NFL draft for him, which is great for him. But leaving that wide receiver group, and you have a bunch of guys back, like you said, but I think Wesley Elidor is definitely another good athlete to add to that room. And I thought it was a good bring in for Coach Schweigert and UND. Brian, thanks for the time. Appreciate it. It is snowing harder now than when we first started talking with you, so enjoy being a dad, father, and teacher for the next couple of days. Stay away from teaching math. No kid likes math, so just stay away from that subject if you can.
Yeah, well, that's. I think she's already surpassed my knowledge of math, so it's
it doesn't take very long for me, so I'd be in the same boat there with you. Thanks for the time. We'll talk to you again down the road.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
There you go. Brian Sean, Midcoast Sports. Great dad as well. Just a great human being, great person. So happy to have him on. And UND playoff team last year. We'll see what they can do in the Valley. Trying to take that next step for them. Now it's, they've gotten in the playoffs. Now, can you make a run? Can you win a couple games? Can you get a little bit further in it? That's probably that next step for a program that's had a few cracks at the playoffs over the last few seasons, at least a couple of seasons, last 3 of them. But now it's about trying to make a little bit of a run. Our Missouri Valley Mix is always brought to you by Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty. Todd Cattermas is a proud partner and the preferred realtor of NDSU Athletics. Give Todd a call today at 701-371-4234 or visit him at 4832 Amber Valley Parkway in Fargo. Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty, moving the herd one home at a time. We'll take a break. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 1 for you next.
Your home for the Thundering Herd.
Hey, you got any left-handed football?
Bison 1660.
We take great pride in really doing all the research and the work behind the scenes to make sure that our products just work.
We have our own staff member that helps pick the hybrids and the varieties that work in our area. It's meant for you, not for somebody 200 miles away.
We test our seed locally. We produce our seed locally, so we get to see our production fields, where they need to be, and if they work there.
Need seed? Think ProSeed. ProSeed.net. Great seed at a reasonable price.
Hi, I'm Grant Nelson, NDSU Bison basketball player. Whether it's playing basketball or driving in my car, I want to do everything to the best of my ability, on the court and off the court. So when I'm in the car, I up my game with the Drive for Less program from Nodak Insurance. I could save up to 30% on my premium just for driving safely. To me, that's a slam dunk. Download the Nodak Insurance app today.
If there's one thing I know about farmers, it's that they are resilient. This is Scott Zolandic with Cornerstone Bank. Farmers are known to rise to ever-changing challenges, whether it be higher land prices and rent costs, risk management, or diversification. Cornerstone Bank offers an experienced team that you can turn to. If you're looking to save, borrow, or spend, Cornerstone Bank will find the best financial options for business, ag operations, and your personal needs. Come see us at Cornerstone Bank.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Pick your payment, pick your price at the Gateway Clearance Center. Over 300 pre-owned vehicles in stock, with vehicles for every budget starting at just $1,499 or payments as low as $99 per month. All vehicles are inspected by Gateway certified mechanics. Shop the bigger, better selection of clean used vehicles today. Pick your payment, pick your price only at Gateway Clearance Center, 2302 South University Drive in Fargo, or online at fmclearancecenter.com.
Attention all electricians! Are you ready for your next challenge? Theraldson Ethanol is currently seeking an experienced and skilled E&I technician to join their team in Castleton. You'll be responsible for maintaining, troubleshooting, and repairing a variety of electrical and instrumentation equipment. You'll need to have strong analytical skills, technical aptitude, excellent attention to detail, and a commitment to safety. If you have experience in E&I maintenance and an electrical journeyman license, we want to hear from you. Apply now at theraldsonethanol.com.
It's Masters Week, our favorite week of the year. Hi, I'm John Miller.
And I'm Adam Scott with Golf Addiction. All this Masters Week, you can buy Golf Addiction's 30-day summer golf pass for just $25.
This pass can be used anytime between May 1st and September 30th.
30-day unlimited golf pass simply starts on your first visit. Stop into Golf Addiction now. All TVs will be playing the Masters.
So, enjoy really good food, great drink specials, and the best deal anywhere for golf.
Masters Week at Golf Addiction. Buy a 30-day summer golf pass for just $25. $25.
Are you ready for the big win? You could win big Saturday, April 29th at Dakota Magic Casino. You could win $5,000 in cash on Saturday, April 29th, starting at 1 p.m. 3 lucky winners will be drawn every hour who could win up to $777 in cash and $500 in free play. And then at 10 p.m., 5 lucky winners will be drawn for a chance at $5,000 in cash. It could be a big win for you at Dakota Magic Casino, entity of the Dakota Nation Gaming Enterprise.
Yee-hoo! I struck gold! Gold, I tell you!
You're in Fargo. You're lying.
I do not lie! Look at this thing of beauty!
Whoa! I gotta admit, that does look beautiful.
Golden French crust with delicious sauce, real cheese, and tasty toppings.
Where do you find this?
They call it Pizza Patrol. You call 241-9000 or online at 2419000.com.
You are on the service, I keep them on the road. You know you really are for the Pizza Patrol.
That's 241-9000.
Bison 1660.
My name is
I waited for the drop. I waited for it. Getting hardcore today. Are you in a mood?
I love classic rock, heavy rock, a little bit of metal. I like loud stuff.
If you like classic rock, you'd love listening to 107.9 The Fox.
I do. That's my number one on my preset in my vehicle.
Okay, now I'm offended.
Well, you can't. I have different presets for AM and FM.
Okay.
Yeah, sure you do.
Yeah. Bison 1660 is also on the FM, 92.7 on the dial, saying classic rock that really rocks on 107.9.
I listen to you all day. Why would I want to listen to you more, Andy?
Yes, I mean, you can't listen to the show because you're on the show. I get that portion. We appreciate you listening to us in your car if you're there, 1660 AM, 92.7 FM. Or if you're listening on the free Bison 1660 mobile app powered by Farmers Mutual of Nebraska, a local insurance that's built on teamwork and strength. Experience the Farmers Mutual difference for your auto, farm, and home. Visit FMNE.com to contact a local agent for a free, no-obligation quote today. You can listen on that free Bison 1660 mobile app. Download it today. You can listen wherever you're at. You can also listen on our Facebook page, Bison 1660 on Facebook. Listen in and watch our shows live. We have all the shows up there for you, streaming live on Facebook via the Horsch Cam. Horsch, farming with passion online at horsch.com, HORSCH.com. Get to some NFL mock draft madness a little bit later on. Interesting notes on the Vikings where people have them going. Also, Cody Melk, there's a 2-round mock draft. See if he lands in there or where he lands, all that kind of stuff from Todd McShay, Daniel Jeremiah, some of the big talking heads. It's kind of where I'm going to shift my focus here over the next couple of weeks. The NFL draft is this month. It's coming up at the end of the month. And so maybe try and have a few of those guys on over the next couple of weeks. Where does Cody Melk land? Where does Hunter Lipke land? So I think he's getting drafted. There's a guy like Destin Talbert getting into the mix at all. Noah Gindor, some of those other guys as well. Nash Jensen maybe into the back end of the draft as well.
What the people really want to know is when does the Andy Rickoff mock draft come out? How come you don't put out like 4 versions?
So I just saw this actually, and I'm extremely happy you asked. I'm honored. I'm flattered.
I'm regretting it.
I'm flattered that you asked about the Andy Rickoff foolproof mock draft, and I just saw Colin Cowherd, the Herd, Fox Sports Radio, which you can hear after the show. He today is coming up with his first edition. His first Colin Cowherd mock draft is today. I thought he only did one. Now I realize he does multiple. This is the first edition. He must be doing multiple. I feel like I'm slacking. So I will come up with multiple mock drafts this year.
You need at least 2 of them. I mean, how many does Kuiper do? 5?
Oh, I think Todd McShay is already 4.0.
Yeah, so 5 or
Probably
6.
Probably 5 or 6, yeah, I would think.
Probably 5. Maybe 1.
I would think there's at least one more before you get to the week of the draft, and then one more week of draft. I think there's probably
2 weeks to the draft, 3 weeks to the draft.
3 weeks.
3 weeks to the draft.
22nd? 27th.
Still come out with 1 or 2 more.
Kansas City. Yeah, for sure. I think I'll do 2. I'll double it up. I'll go from 1 to 2.
This is that interesting time in the draft when people start to overthink things. You know, you think you have the number 1 pick locked up. You know, the betting odds come out for it, and now it's like Now rumors start flying. We were just talking about the quarterbacks, and some people are now they're saying Hendon Hooker is all of a sudden the third quarterback. People weren't even talking about him. He was like a distant fifth. Now Will Levis seems like he's sliding, possibly.
You know what we call this? Smoke screens.
Yes.
Every team saying this is happening, or we're going there.
We really like this guy.
I
You
heard
better
from
trade with
sources
us.
this team was looking at this position, or they had this guy in for a visit, and it's like, nope. And that's why all the teams that talked, no offense, all the teams that talked to you were like smoke screens. All on Kyle
I don't think
Manuel.
they care so much about the fifth round guys.
Oh, they do.
If I was a GM, I would just spend all of my time just sending out fake rumors of like, oh, I really like this guy. I'm looking at this guy. I might
Trading
trade
the
up.
pick. Yep.
I might trade away this guy to get up. I would just send out anything and everything, so then people didn't know what I was doing.
Meanwhile, the Chargers sent out smoke screens about other players, and the whole time they're like, we want Kyle Emmanuel.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's what it was.
That's exactly what went down. Yeah.
That's why they didn't talk. They kept you off of other teams' radars by not having, not talking to you, making it look like they were interested.
You're right.
It's
Nailed it.
Smoke screen season for the NFL. That'll do it for hour number 1, though. Fun stuff there. Always great to have Brian Shawn on. If you missed that, you can podcast it later on our Facebook or Twitter account. Also, anywhere you podcast things. I mean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. It's out there for you. Tons of ways for that to happen. Micah Bendy does a great job getting our podcasts out there of the shows every single day, and all of our coverage of NDSU athletics. Hour number 2, big time spring football hour. A lot of conversations, including the start off hour number 2 when we come back. Hunter Zenzen, my conversation with the new defensive end that transfer in from Iowa State when we come back on the Insiders.
We all know life gets busy, running from one event to the next. Stay safe and on schedule with Aggressive Towing and Recovery. Hi, I'm Kelsey Lomsdahl, owner of Aggressive Towing, a family-owned company that has been serving the Red River Valley for over 13 years. When life gets busy and you're running from school events to sporting events and everything in between, we are a name you can trust. Need a tow? There's just one name you need to know. Aggressive Towing and Recovery. Online at aggressivetow.com.
Are you a business owner with remodel plans in the near future? When it comes to your electrical needs, you only need one call, and that's to JDP Electric. JDP's team of professionals will work with you closely and are able to follow a strict timeline to get your project done when it's needed. That way, you don't have to worry about closing your doors and missing any customers or sales. Put your company in the best hands by calling JDP right away. Call 701-232-1991 today to experience the JDP difference, or online at jdpelectric.net.
Invest in your community with Epic Companies. Hey, this is Mac. Have you been looking to diversify your portfolio and dive into real estate? We offer multiple types of investing through our mixed-use buildings and entertainment plazas. If you are an accredited investor and interested in hearing more about the investment process and how you can be part of enhancing the quality of life in the area, visit epiccompaniesnd.com to review our investment options. That's epiccompaniesnd.com.
And it's booked. Wait, what if my flight gets canceled or the room is terrible? Ugh, what am I doing? Travel always has specials on dream trips. They do corporate travel, honeymoons, everything. I'm booking with Travel just to be safe. This week's Travel hot deal of the week is a 7-day cruise to Canada and New England. Fly to New York October 14th through the 21st and jump on the Emerald Princess to enjoy the fall colors in Canada and New England. Call Travel at 492-5000 or online at travelgroup.com.
Hit year-round comfort knowing your home is backed by the expert technicians at AirServe Esser Plumbing and Heating. Ask about special savings opportunities on new heating and air conditioning systems. Our experienced professionals are here to serve you. Satisfaction guaranteed. At home or at the lake, call 877-882-4822 for all your heating and cooling needs. Visit us online at esserplumbingandheating.com. That's 877-882-4822 and online at esserplumbingandheating.com.
At Batteries Plus, we power family road trips. We power bedtime stories. We power our local hospitals. We power connections with friends. We do more than replace batteries and fix phones and tablets. We help our neighbors power their lives. How powerful is that? Visit Batteries Plus in store, curbside, and online for fast and reliable phone and tablet repair. Learn more at batteriesplus.com.
Are you a business owner with remodel plans in the near future? When it comes to your electrical needs, you only need one call, and that's 2 JDP Electric. JDP's team of professionals will work with you closely and are able to follow a strict timeline to get your project done when it's needed. That way, you don't have to worry about closing your doors and missing any customers or sales. Put your company in the best hands by calling JDP right away. Call 701-232-1991 today to experience the JDP difference, or online at jdpelectric.net.
It's the Cash for Cars event at Gateway Chevrolet. All makes, all models. Sell your ride today. Whether it has 50,000 miles or 150,000 miles, Gateway Chevrolet will buy it. Cars, trucks, and SUVs get cash today. Gateway Chevrolet needs good, clean, used cars, trucks, and SUVs. Sell your ride today, whether it has 50,000 miles or 150,000 miles. Gateway will buy it. The Cash for Cars buying event today at Gateway Chevrolet in Fargo.
KQWB West Fargo, KPFX HD3 Kindred, and K224FD Fargo. Bison 1660, powered by Gateway Chevrolet, Cadillac, Nissan, and Hyundai in Fargo.
And here's what you need to know.
In NFL news, there appears to be some mounting friction within the New England Patriots. A report from NBC Sports says that Pats coach Bill Belichick has explored trade possibilities regarding quarterback Mac Jones. The potential destinations included the Raiders, Texans, Buccaneers, and Commanders. This comes after a report on Monday said there was lingering tension between Belichick and Jones last season. Pats owner Robert Kraft said at last week's annual league meeting that he thought the team experimented with some things last year that didn't work well for Jones. Speaking of the Pats and quarterbacks, NFL media reports longtime New England backup Brian Hoyer has signed a 2-year deal with the Raiders, reuniting with Josh McDaniels. It's Masters Week, and Tiger Woods is savoring every moment.
I don't know how many more I have in me, so just to be able to appreciate the time that I have here and cherish the memories.
Woods finished 47th last year. Groupings will be announced later today. I'm Nick Cope.
This is The Insiders, taking you inside the lines and behind the scenes of NDSU and around the region.
I hang heavy on your thoughts because you are the Bison gods.
That should be a penalty.
The Insiders. Do you have any other questions?
You know it.
The Insiders are presented by Proseed. Need seed? Think Proseed.
Okay, so what are you saying?
These guys do an unbelievable job, and tune into the Insiders.
I did have one. I do not apologize for taking it out of the 6-pack.
First thing you should know about us is that we have people everywhere.
The Insider. The Insider. The Insider.
The prices were that shocking. I wasn't listening. I'm an old soul.
Now, here are the Insiders.
Well, we're waiting.
Hour number 2 live here for you from the Theraldson Ethanol Broadcast Center on a increasingly snowy Tuesday. It's accumulating. Still feeling good about not that much snow, guys? Or
No.
Yeah, I think it's going to hit us. This has not been a good year for my Fargo bubble take. It's not. I still believe in it. It holds strong very well.
We had a lot of snow last year, too. Not this much.
But we get missed by the heavier ones last year. Like, Wahpeton got hit a lot harder than Fargo did on most of them.
So I was planning on going back to my hometown for Easter this weekend. Their golf course is already open, by the way.
Jealous.
And it's supposed to be like
Sounds
70
glorious.
degrees on Sunday.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say that you had to stay in Fargo because of the weather.
I might have to.
Well, the roads would be cleared
So I'm
by
bummed.
Friday or something.
Yeah,
The hope,
We'll
at
see.
least.
We'll see.
As long as the thing slows down by the end. It's supposed to be done by the morning of Thursday, so you think by the end of Thursday, get most of the interstate open? I hope.
We got the wind issue.
Hey, if it doesn't get open, I'll come watch the Masters with you.
Good deal.
Yeah, deal. We can go to Golf Addiction.
That will be the
There you
one the one positive. If I can't go, give me more time to watch the Masters.
Absolutely. Our Masters Golf giveaway right now for you live on our website, folks. You got to sign up for it. So many people have. You got to join the party right now on our website, bison1660.com. You can win a free 30-day pass to Golf Addiction. Golf as much as you want. You can take a day off of work and just golf the entire day at Golf Addiction. And all that's right there for you with their free 30-day pass. You can win it on our Masters Golf giveaway on bison1660.com. You just got to pick the top 8 of the leaderboard at Augusta. Whoever gets the most right will win the 30-day pass. So there's going to be a winner. You don't have to get all 8 right to win. But if you get the most right of all of our folks that have signed up, you win the free 30-day pass. And then you're also into a drawing for a free bag at the end of the summer. A brand new golf bag as well from our friends there at Golf Addiction. Make sure you go out there this week as well. They've got those 30-day summer passes for $25. They're on 50% off sale right now, all Masters Week long. I already got myself one of them because I can't win the golf giveaway, so I'm going to go get one from Golf Addiction there and get the $25 30-day pass, less than $1 a day.
Get your $5 wedge that you were telling me about dialed in.
I got another one of those. Yep, the little $5 club. Find those things at a Goodwill or something, and there you go. See what you can get out of it. Why not?
So you
Have
got
some
a
fun with it.
64-degree wedge.
64-degree.
That thing is going to go straight up, and you're going to break the simulator.
No, you're going to blade everything. You're going to blade it.
I'm going to use that. I'm going to put one 3 feet from the hole, and then just stare you guys.
You're going to blade
It's going to go like 60 yards.
Okay.
100 yards over the green.
I'm now going to dedicate myself to making this my best club in my bag. I'm just going to use it.
Instead of using more loft, use your woods when you're just on the rough or the outside the green, and you just tap it and let it roll.
Using my new wedge. It's happening.
Use the 3-wood. Use the hybrid. Just tap it and let it roll.
Tap it in.
You do
Tap
that
it
and
on
end
the
up
green.
6 feet away, and I'll chip mine up high in the air and land it next to the hole.
How many tries are you getting?
Just one try. I mean, I'm going to practice with it a bunch and dial it in, but
Yes.
we're going to be good. When we actually play competitively,
Amateurs
one try.
really dial in our clubs. We do.
I'm going to.
You might
I'm
hit
gonna
the
make
actual simulator camera thing that's straight above you.
That is the issue with simulator golf, I guess, with using a wedge like that.
64-degree wedge.
Yeah, so that'll be the issues. But $25 for a 30-day pass all Masters Week long there at Golf Addiction. You can go onto our website and sign up for the Masters Golf giveaway on the website there. Just look for that rotating banner. Click on the number or click on the post there, the big graphic, and you can sign up right there. Also put up some posters at Golf Addiction. So if you happen to be going by there's a QR code. Just scan that thing, and you can go right to the page and sign up there for our Masters Golf giveaway. This hour, plenty of conversation about spring football. Was back there at practice again today. Ryan Peralt does great work lining up some players for us. Got a chance to talk with a couple of them, including Hunter Zenzen. Got a chance to talk with him. Transfer into the program from Iowa State. From Barnesville, Minnesota, played for the Trojans in high school. His brother now plays for the program as well at tight end, but Hunter as a defensive end, going to hopefully be creating some sacks and some impact plays for Code Green this season. Got a chance to talk with Hunter a little bit one-on-one after their practice. First off, just had to ask him, how's spring ball going 5 practices in?
Yeah, it's been very exciting. Spring ball here is huge, obviously, and everyone's been open arms to me. And so learning the defense, everyone around me has been helping me out, and hopefully I can get to a point where I'm helping those around me.
5 practices in, what's the similarities and differences of spring ball, NDSU versus Iowa State?
I would say a lot more like genuine reps. Things aren't really simulated here. Things are hand in the dirt and you're going. So.
And then the facility as well. I know we were talking about that a little bit before we were recording this. Just how does this indoor facility rate to what you experienced in the Big 12?
The Big 12, I've been to some very nice places, and NDSU is definitely up there as well.
Yeah, great spot for you. And obviously the second half of this will get done here soon. For you coming to NDSU, when you decided to transfer from Iowa State, was a pretty easy decision to come back basically to home here to Fargo?
Yeah, NDSU's always been home to me. My brother plays tight end here, and so really it was no question.
You mentioned Cade and your brother playing tight end. I would assume you guys go a little bit one-on-one in practice every once in a while. How do those reps go?
They're very well. Logan was already trying to start a fight with us, but no, we push each other. So.
Yep. Are you asking Coach Petrino, okay, line me up, or me on some sort of stunt when I get to the tight end?
I think it's Coach Roll's definitely meeting with Caden and saying something like, you better go against your brother here. And so, that's already been happening. So.
Yeah, Coach Roll is definitely saying something to the tight ends. That's absolutely what.
He's in my ear too. So.
Oh, I bet he is. But to have you here, it's great to have you back in the area. Is a position change for you compared to what you were doing at Iowa State? Was more outside linebacker?
I would say no, because I already had 1 year under the belt at Iowa State at defensive end. But schematically, the defense it's a whole different concept, and so learning terms, learning the defense, learning fits, and all that stuff. That's been a challenge, but I have great people around me to help me out. So,
what are your expectations for yourself in year one going into this next fall?
Just making an impact on this team, leading the way, and hopefully we can get another championship. So.
and we're going to be playing at US Bank Stadium for the first game of the season. We were talking as well. You've played there a number of times when you were with Barnesville in high school.
Yep. So with Barnesville, I played there 4 times in the state tournament, and so going back there, that's going to be fun, especially at the college level.
Assume Barnesville's going to have quite a few representatives at most Bison football games, maybe even more than they've had in years past now with you and your brother here?
Yeah, most definitely. I know there's already been a bunch of people talk to me and be like, and they were like, we're going to be at like every Bison game, so it's going to be fun. A lot of fans from Barnesville, so.
What was it like playing for the Trojans, playing for Coach Strand there?
Playing for Coach Strand, that was like where kind of it all started. So like having a good culture there really like elevated me and like, hey, this is what I love to do. Like, and along the way, it was the people, like all the friends, and like it was just like a good experience for me. And I know that kids going through it right now with Coach Strand, they're having a really good experience as well.
Outside of going against your brother, you're also going against some of the offensive linemen, the Rams, a little bit. What's that challenge been like?
Yep. It's just another offensive line that we got to go against. They're very well, a lot of talent there, and so they push me, I push them.
Anybody standing out there? Obviously, it's going to be a new left tackle for NDSU this next season. Anybody standing out you've been going against?
Yeah, someone standing out is Jalen Sundell for sure. He's just obviously he's got a lot of experience, and so some of his craft, a little bit of his craft is. He does things different, and so adjust into that. Yeah, veteran. He knows what's going on as well in our defense, and so that's a little bit tougher to go against. So.
Well, Hunter, happy to have you here. Happy to have you back in the area, and thanks for the time.
Thank you.
There you go. Hunter Zen transfer in at defensive end, coming over from Iowa State out of the Big 12. And I don't know exactly. I'm not going to sit here and say I think he's starting. I think he's the number one guy. I think he's top in the depth chart, but he's going to be in the rotation, I think. And he's just. I know first year at NDSU, but he's a guy that's been around college football a little bit, which means has he played a ton? Did he play a ton of snaps at Iowa State? No, not necessarily, but he's been in the weight rooms. He's been around college lifting. The body's developed a little bit more, and he knows football really well, and I think he's going to be in that rotation and hopefully be an impact player.
Well, and a guy that, the coaching staff was high on coming out of high school. They recruited him. They wanted him
heavily
to come here, and I think that was also a big factor in him coming back to NDSU. But yeah, like you said, Andy, I think this is why transfers are attractive, right? Because you're not getting the high school. I've said this before. I'm on record saying, I thought I knew football when I was in high school, and I had no idea what I was getting into when I got to NDSU. So just some of the verbiage, yes, it'll be different, but there will be some carryover there. As you mentioned, you've developed more. You've kind of gone from a kid to a man now. So yeah, there's always going to be a learning curve, but it's just going to be a little bit less for someone who's been around college football for a while. And like we also mentioned, it's a position where you're going to rotate guys, where you're going to try and find that number one guy, but you're also going to try and keep guys fresh. NDSU's done that for a long time, even before I got here. And that's what they'll probably continue to do at the defensive end position, and hopefully he's someone that can come in and have an impact. Like he just said, that's his goal for the year.
This is what I got on 24/7 Sports from the recruiting side of things when Hunter Zenzen was being recruited out of high school. 6'3", 215. Now on the roster right now, 6'4", and 246.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
a little development there.
30 pounds there, and it grew an inch, I guess, as well. But I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to be a solid player. Actually, no, pardon me, misspoke. I was looking at somebody just ahead of him. Still 246, but at 6'2". So typically lost an inch.
So he shrunk.
6'3" to 6'2", but gained the weight.
Well, in high school, you always...
everyone fudges the roster an inch or something like that. So, but 30 pounds of weight is really the big thing, from 215 to 246.
I was probably like 6'6" in high school. No, I'm kidding. I was
6'6".
I was legit. I wasn't one of those people.
Bison 1660 roster
for like our height and weights.
6'4". Yep.
Okay. I don't know if anyone's buying that one.
Probably not, but I can at least put it on the roster. Can I get 6'1"?
You're 6'4", and Micah runs a 4'8".
There we go.
Yes. And can kick a 45-yard field goal.
Oh, yeah.
We do need to still. Well, there's nowhere to do it.
That has to happen.
Yeah. We'll try and find somewhere to do that once it's actually grounded.
When's the next practice? Maybe we can get one in after media availability.
We can try to. Probably next week, because I think Easter
I really want a free
week
lunch
and everything.
I just really want a free lunch.
Okay. Let's try and do that. I'll have to have Matt Larson.
Wait, is it 45? I thought it was 40.
45. He said 45.
I'll ramp it up. I'll be like, start at 20 and we'll keep backing it up. And I'll get to 45 and I'll nail it.
Where's the bet at though? 40 or 45?
The bet was at 45.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to stay true to my word. I could have been like, oh no, Kyle said 40. I'll do 40. No,
I don't think you're making either one, so it doesn't matter to me.
That's okay.
45 is.
Doubt me.
Secondary bet on the 40-yarder?
You're clouded just because I'm slow.
No, I'm clouded because of how confident you were. I didn't even know if you were slow. You were just so confident that you were going to run under 5, and you didn't even come close.
I'm confident in anything that I do.
That's an issue.
Hey, that can be a good and bad thing, right?
Yeah, but you got to be self-aware as well. Might help a little bit. But Hunter Zenzen, good conversation there. I think he's a good kid. It's cool that his brother is, literally tight end, defensive end. They go against each other on one-on-ones. And Caden Zenzen, as a tight end, who's the position coach? Tyler Roll. He's talking some trash about, hey, your brother, better beat him. Sibling rivalry, all that kind of stuff. So that's an interesting angle to it. And it is interesting that he's played in U.S. Bank Stadium. I don't think it gives him an advantage or anything, but he's played there 4 times in high school. So first game of the year, when NDSU's playing at U.S. Bank Stadium against Eastern Washington, it'll be like, yeah, played here before. It's going to be a lot more fans. It's going to be cooler. Going to be different for sure. And you're playing a better team than you were playing in high school. But he's played in the stadium.
4
means something.
times, huh?
Yeah, high school state
Wow.
tournament.
Impressive.
I know. So played there freshman year. Said he missed sophomore year. They played there twice as a junior and once as a senior.
Twice as a junior.
Next 2 games, you advance on.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a seasoned vet there in U.S. Bank Stadium.
Darn right. Played more games than some Vikings players out there, it looks like. But Hunter Zenzen's going to be a good player. I'm excited about him. Mekhi Collins as well. I think he looks the part at receiver. He's gotten bigger. He's gotten stronger. He's gotten more confident. I have some stuff from him. He talked to multiple members of the media today. We'll play that conversation for you in a little bit. But this is the time when guys like Mekhi, going through this process for the first time and going into year number 2, like this is the time when those guys tend to start to take off a little bit. So interesting time for them for sure. Do you remember what it was like for you first spring ball and some of those steps you were trying to take? You probably have more goals when you're a younger player like that. What you want to accomplish in spring ball.
Well, yeah. For me, it was more so just kind of proving that I could play. Coming in, you redshirt and you're just on the scout team, and you're not really doing anything NDSU football related, right? Like you're not running your defense. You're not doing anything necessarily during the season a ton where you're actually focusing on what you would do when you're playing for the Bison. So it was, yeah, I felt a lot of pressure, I would say, looking back on it, however many years ago that was, just trying to prove that I could play. And I think there's a lot of guys that probably have the same mindset, trying to prove to the coaches that, yeah, I can make an impact on this team. And, really, and one of the biggest hurdles is that mental hurdle. We've heard Coach Entz talk about it with some of the guys that are trying to, find their way into the field. Sometimes it's not so much physically. Yes, there's always going to be a bit of a learning curve, if you will, when it comes to the physicality and, getting bigger and stronger and faster, but really mastering the playbook to get to that point, kind of like what Brian Sean was talking about, get to that point where you're no longer thinking. You know the defense so well that you're just reacting. That's when you get the best out of yourself, and that's what spring ball is for.
Yeah, trying to learn that playbook a little bit more. So I think Hunter is one of those guys you can look for in the fall to maybe have some impact plays for you on the Code Green defensive line. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Another guy that could have an impact is Mekhi Collins. Spoke with members of the media. We'll play that for you when we come back next here on The Insiders on Bison 1660.
Champions play here.
This man was a bona fide scrub. He can't play. No disrespect whatsoever, but I'm sorry to tell everybody the truth. He has small hands. He can't catch the ball.
You're home for the Thundering Herd. Bison 1660.
So most companies claim they have good people, good product, good customer service, but the question is how often. We go the extra mile to take care of our dealers and our growers, and more importantly, their families and their customers.
Proseed tries to bring a family-like experience. Farmers, we want to understand what their challenges are. We also want to bring products to them that help them overcome those challenges so that they can be as successful as possible.
Need seed? Think Proseed. Proseed.net. Great seed at a reasonable price.
And it's booked. Wait, what if my flight gets canceled or the room is terrible? Ugh, what am I doing? Travel always has specials on dream trips. They do corporate travel, honeymoons, everything. I'm booking with Travel just to be safe. This week's Travel hot deal of the week is a 7-day cruise to Canada and New England. Fly to New York October 14th through the 21st and jump on the Emerald Princess to enjoy the fall colors in Canada and New England. Call Travel at 492-5000 or online at travelgroup.com.
The clock's changed, which means the change of seasons is next. Is your air conditioner ready? Don't wait until it's too late to get it checked off your list. Let the professionals at Valley Service Mechanical help. Make your appointment now for your annual air conditioner tune-up to ensure you can enjoy the upcoming warm weather and comfort. It's no sweat with Valley Service Mechanical when your heating and cooling needs help and your plumbing is on the fritz. Call Valley Service Mechanical, 701-293-5701. Online at valleyservice.net.
Are you in the market for a new diamond, but not sure the differences between lab-grown and natural diamonds? Look no further than Schmidt's Gems and Fine Jewelry. Our team of professionals will guide you through the process and teach you about the unique qualities of each type of diamond. Come visit us at our Fargo location and experience the difference. Schmidt's Gems and Fine Jewelry. Not all diamonds are created equal. Find us at schmidtsjewelry.com.
When it's time to find a realtor, word of mouth is important, and Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty is a name Bison Nation says often. Todd has helped everyone from coaches and administrators to broadcasters and former players and their families buy homes in the FM area. So many in Bison Nation trust Todd to buy and sell their homes, and you can too. Call Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty today or visit him at 4832 Amber Valley Parkway in Fargo. Todd is a proud partner and the preferred realtor of NDSU Athletics. Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty, moving the herd one home at a time.
Experience is what builds the future of glass at Cardinal IG in Fargo. Cardinal IG is leading the industry in the development of superior glass for the residential window industry. Their highly motivated and talented employees design and manufacture the best glass in the industry. This April, Cardinal IG would like to say thank you to Augustin Kebaseri, Aaron Monkman, Kali Momo, Georgia Gunti, Shepard, and Ramaji Yarangar, who are all celebrating their first year at Cardinal IG. To view open positions or to apply, visit cardinalfargo.com.
Bison 1660.
Bright city light, another night to die, and I'm feeling.
You got this one, Kyle?
No, I don't know this one, actually.
I don't know this one either.
I didn't know this one.
Oh, okay, I don't feel so bad. We don't need to know it then.
Would you like to know the title?
Yeah, I would.
We Are the Danger by Blacklight District.
Never heard of any of those
Never
things.
heard of it either, but I was like, We Are Danger?
Blacklight District.
Cool.
Have you ever heard of that?
Nope.
Band, group?
Nope.
Either that. So, right there with you. I like it, though. Solid stuff. There you go. Anybody got any music recommendations? Send them our way. Text them in. 701-476-1660. Back here with you on the Insiders. You can also call us up on that same number, 701-476-1660. The Epic Companies hotline open for you, and so is our Rick Electric email inbox, studio at bison1660.com. If you are an electrician working for a bad company, then just join the team at Rick Electric. They're a great company, and they work on some awesome projects. You can email them today at info@rickelectric.com if you want to join the great team there at Rick Electric. And why wouldn't you? If you're a great electrician, they want you to join their team. Talked about Hunter Zenzen in the last segment, going on the defensive side of a potential impact player for the Bison, a transfer into the program, and in the age of college football and college athletics in general, you get more of that, people transferring in and having an impact right away for you. We saw it with Braden Thomas. We've seen it with other players on other programs as well at NDSU. Tamarick Williams, another one perfectly. Transfers in, has a massive impact, and right now is probably the top running back on the roster. So Hunter Zenzen as a transfer in at defensive end, I think he's going to have an impact early on. How about a guy that wasn't a transfer in, been here since the get-go, a redshirt freshman wide receiver at this point in Mekhi Collins from Mankato, Minnesota. Spoke with members of the media earlier today and got a chance to listen into part of that conversation as well. First one for Mekhi was, again, just how's everything going here going into year number 2?
No, I just come out and do the same things every single day. You come out, compete, the older guys teach you things every single day, and it's just new opportunities to get better and better every day.
It's a pretty deep wide receiver unit. How do you crack the depth chart here?
You just keep pushing yourself. Every day's a competition, so we compete every single day, but we're also pushing each other every single day. So every single time we come out here, we're all competing for the same spot. We're all pushing each other to get better and better.
Where has your game grown this offseason?
Definitely my route running. I came in here, I probably had some of the stiffest hips ever, but Coach Kramer and the strength staff all got us right. So my hips are a lot better, and I can definitely run routes a lot cleaner.
I think everybody talks about how much you have to be able to block as a receiver in this offense, but you don't really know it till you're in it. Now that you've been in it for a little bit, how can you describe what the blocking means?
Oh, it's definitely key to our offense for sure. Going to dig out safeties and making sure you're containing the outside corners, just stuff like that for our running backs to get through the holes and score touchdowns are very key in our offense, and they stress it a lot.
You also added some weight. What have you done differently this offseason when it comes to your diet?
Just a lot of eating. I eat a lot now. I probably like 3 to 4 meals a day. I think it's all like the running I do in practice and the lifting we do is just very contagious. I'm just very contagious to the dining centers. So,
any favorite food in the dining center?
I'd say my favorite thing is the country fried steak. They have some good gravy there, so I think that's pretty good.
How do you use your size to your advantage out there as a receiver?
Just me being bigger than most DBs and just use my strength to, push past them or overpower them, things like that. Along with my arm length, I use my arms to my advantage and get their arms off earlier so they can't get their hands on me.
I'm sure even when you signed to come to NDSU, you felt like you belonged, but now that you've been here, do you feel like you belong a little bit more?
Oh, for sure. I feel like once you've been in the program for a lot longer, you start to grow up and you start to realize things that the older guys are trying to get to you earlier. But just going along with these guys every single day, it's just been a great process, and it's been so much fun that they're just my brothers now.
When would you say things started clicking for you?
For sure, towards the end of the season is when I started to pick most things up and really get comfortable in the playbook. But now that I'm about 6 practices into spring ball, it just comes naturally now. You just know what you're doing. I mean, everybody still has questions here or there, but just having that experience throughout the season just helps a lot.
So no more dipping your toe in here, huh?
No, sir.
It's time to get going?
Yep, it is most definitely time to get going.
Can you describe what it's like catching a ball from Cam Miller and catching a ball from Cole Payton?
Yeah, so my quarterback in high school is left-handed, so I'm used to Cole's ball rotation. But yeah, no, it's just great to have their experience with the ball throw and like where to place the ball in different routes. So having them be more experienced when me running my routes just helps me out a lot more.
There you go, Mekhi Collins, his thoughts as well. Interesting, quarterback in high school, left-handed quarterback, and obviously Cole Payton, left-handed quarterback, so he's kind of more used to that stuff. And Cam Miller, not a left-handed, but I'm sure he just fine catching the passes there from Cam Miller. Put on a couple of pounds since he came to NDSU, so right now standing at 6'4", 212. You compare to some of the other receivers in the room, Carson Hagerly is one that we talk about quite a bit. He is just a couple of inches shorter, but I think a good 15, 20 pounds lighter overall than Mekhi. So just, that size at receiver, and again, this is probably the same thing as Reggie King when he stood up to me. It's the size, right? I thought he looked the part. I think the speed is absolutely there, but when you're 6'4", you've got enough height to be a factor, especially at the FCS. A lot of FCS corners just tend to be a little bit smaller, but really physical. And when you got the speed and you got the size of 212, I think that's a pretty dangerous just body in general.
Yeah, last year, one of the talking points was, who's going to replace Christian Watson, obviously. And I thought they had a number of guys that stepped up throughout the season. Now, some of them aren't here anymore. I don't know if there was ever an established deep threat, at least a consistent one. And it was that maybe one of the things that, that they're looking for this year. I think you have a number of guys that they can do some good things. We mentioned Eli Greeno, Braylon Henderson is there. Obviously, Zach Mathis is 6'6". But when you can just kind of throw different looks at teams, when you have a slot guy that you have to worry about coming underneath, you have some of the taller guys that can take the top off the defense. It just adds another element. And that's why I'm so excited about this wide receiver position group. I'm going to see who emerges. And we could say that a lot about a lot of different positions on this team right now. That's one of the fun things about talking about spring ball. But there is that talent there. There's some highly touted receivers there, and you want to see how many get into the rotation and what kind of impact can they have.
Some of the other receivers like Carson Hagerly is 6'2", 190. Obviously, we know Zach Mathis is tall. He's 6'7", 209. So Carson Hagerly, Mekhi Collins has a couple of pounds on Zach Mathis there, and Zach's put on some weight.
Did Zach grow? I thought he was 6'6".
Well, it says 6'7" right now. 6'7", 209. There you go.
Yeah, he grew.
Yeah, he's just he's evolving. He's getting better. Yeah, there you go. Cedric Wall, I thought, also stood out to me as another receiver that had some good catches, ran some really crisp routes today. Another young receiver, redshirt freshman from Rosemount, Minnesota, so another player that stands out. Braylon Henderson, maybe more of your slot guy that you're mentioning, 5'9", 177. Also Raja Nelson at 5'9", 186. So when Makai steps up there and you see the size of 6'4", 212, that's definitely, it stands out amongst the group, no doubt about that. Another thing that's interesting about the wide receiver group in general is that Raja Nelson, number 17, has been also, when we've been there for the media availability portion of practice, been taking some steps at running back a little bit and been in the backfield and maybe more of those jet sweeps, maybe some more stuff for Raja in that regard. So that's going to be some interesting stuff maybe going forward too, but he's also a great receiver, and I would assume he's going to be staying at receiver. But you never know what you do in the backfield a little bit. With so many good receivers, you got to find ways to get them all on the field.
Well, that's exactly what I was just going to say. Find ways to get them on the field, but also find ways to get them the ball. When you want to run the ball, why not get the ball in some of your best playmakers' hands? If those are receivers, maybe you experiment with some things. I was just looking through this room, and I'm like, I'm getting even more excited, looking at it. There's so many guys that have played, so many, we didn't even mention Jake Lippy. He's been there. I mentioned Eli Green a little bit. He came on a little bit there towards the end of the year.
Had the big touchdown catch in the
Braylon
championship
Henderson, Rajah Nelson. You got the two young guys. Giancarlo Volpetesta plays, he's probably more of a blocking wide receiver, but he's done some good things there as well.
You haven't mentioned yet?
Bryce Lance.
Yeah, there you go. 6'3", 205, sophomore.
Bryce Lance, he did some good things on special teams. I know they were high on him last year too. There's a lot of talent in that room. I know they lost some guys, but there's still a lot left there. And it's just fun to see, eventually what's their role going to be, and who can emerge.
Again, goes to speak to the job Noah Pauley did of developing that room. And they also recruited some really good athletes, but he also developed that room extremely well. And now Steve Crutchley's doing the same thing. And that's his job to keep the thing going. But Noah Pauley did a great job there at that wide receiver group. It's super talented and deep right now, and just looking to see who emerges from it. Because I think we know Zach Mathis is going to play a factor, absolutely will, and he was a factor all season long for the Bison. But Braylon Henderson definitely going to be in there. I think you got guys like Makai Collins that are looking forward to taking a step up and eager to start helping. I'm sure when you're one of the best high school players in your entire state, maybe the best one on your team, and you've been the best one for most of your life at this point, when you go to the college and you got to sit for a couple of years or something, you start getting that itch a little bit, like, man, I want to get on the field, I want to start helping. So then you're going to be pushing for playing time, and that's a good thing. Competition makes the best out of the entire position group there, and definitely happening at wide receiver. We will take a break. We'll come back and some mock draft madness, some new mock drafts out there from the talking heads of the NFL world. We'll go through those, some surprising things for the Vikings and maybe for Cody Melk as well. We'll go over that next.
The most complete Bison coverage in the region. Your Bison Nation station.
You are deep in thought, which is always dangerous.
Bison 1660.
Snow, ice, and below zero temps. Typical Midwest weather, but not so kind to your vehicle. That's why Jiffy Lube of Fargo is here to make sure you have your vehicle in top working condition and ready for these winter roads and temps. Oil changes are the #1 maintenance item that's neglected. At Jiffy Lube of Fargo, no appointment needed at any of the 3 locally owned locations. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, where you can do more in a jiffy. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, proudly serving the metro area for 5 decades.
Looking for a challenging and rewarding opportunity as an electrical and instrumentation maintenance technician? Join the team at Theraldson Ethanol in Castleton. As an experienced electrician, you'll be responsible for maintaining and repairing large machinery and equipment, and will have the opportunity to learn and implement procedures specific to the ethanol industry. Journeyman electrical license or greater required. Work Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. and enjoy a competitive salary and benefits package. Apply at theraldsonethanol.com or send your resume to hr@theraldsonethanol.com.
Attention all North Dakota veterans. In a partnership with the Veteran Service Office, Healing Hyperbarics is proud to announce all North Dakota veterans can receive hyperbaric treatments at no cost to them. Whether you're treating for post-traumatic stress disorder, post-COVID long hauler, or chronic pain, or others, Healing Hyperbarics is your one-stop shop for total body wellness. Inquire with your Veteran Service Office for more information on this grant, or find us at healinghyperbarics.com. That's healinghyperbarics.com.
Jeremy here at Horsch in Mapleton. Did you know that Horsch manufactures premier planting, seeding, and tillage solutions right here in the FM area? We are proud to be a family-owned business based out of Germany and would love for you to join our team right here in Mapleton. We offer competitive pay, full benefits, and paid family time from Christmas to New Year's. Please visit Horsch.com to view our current openings.
It's the Cash for Cars event at Gateway Chevrolet. All makes, all models. Sell your ride today. Whether it has 50,000 miles or 150,000 miles, Gateway Chevrolet will buy it. Cars, trucks, and SUVs get cash today. Gateway Chevrolet needs good, clean, used cars, trucks, and SUVs. Sell your ride today, whether it has 50,000 miles or 150,000 miles. Gateway will buy it. The Cash for Cars buying event today at Gateway Chevrolet in Fargo.
In 1953, Bill Samuels created a simple bourbon, while Margie Samuels worked on her creative vision. A bottle hand-dipped in red wax, wrapped in a hand-cut label, filled with handcrafted bourbon that elevated flavor and remains unchanged as of today. Aromas of woody oak, caramel, and vanilla, with a taste that is sweet and balanced with caramel, vanilla, and fruity essences. Every barrel of Maker's Mark is aged to taste, not time. Maker's Mark, the star of your home bar. Please drink responsibly.
You may not have heard, but the Insiders is now under new management.
Did you see the memo about this?
It's Kyle Emanuel and Andy Rickoff.
And I'll go ahead and make sure you get another copy of that memo. Okay?
The Insiders on Bison 1660.
Here with you inside the Theraldson Ethanol Broadcast Center. Theraldson Ethanol is a proud partner with Summit Carbon Solutions, helping reduce the carbon footprint by capturing, transporting, and permanently storing CO2 emissions, cutting carbon intensity in half. Also, Theraldson Ethanol is one of the nation's largest ethanol facilities, a 175 million gallon per year ethanol plant located just west of Castleton. Now look outside. The snow is definitely falling a little bit more. Micah Bindi here in our Theraldson Ethanol Broadcast Center is closer to the window. Do we have much in the way of accumulation in the parking lot yet?
I'm not tall enough to see the parking lot. There's cars
over the snowbank that's in the way as well.
I'm more seeing the cars.
You can see cars, so we haven't filled up over the
Give
cars
us an
yet.
estimate. How many inches we got so far?
I'd say we're maybe at half an inch.
Okay.
Oh,
maybe.
Something.
So we're doing all right.
They're doing pretty good here at 12:40 on Tuesday, the first day of a 3-day blizzard, basically, that's coming through the Fargo-Moorhead area. Also on our countdown, you can take another one off of the countdown for the Twins' magic number. It's now at 157. So we counted that thing 158. Now it's 157 for the Minnesota Twins to win the AL Central. They are 4-0, 11-4 yesterday at 4 home runs. Joey Gallo already has 3. I think he's one shy of the league lead. So he's going to be in the home run chase at the end of the season, and looking forward to the rest of this undefeated 162-0 season.
Maybe it was just all mental for Joey Gallo. He's like, that shift, man.
Yep.
It's just mental stuff, and he's like, I can swing freely now, and he's just popping those home runs like it's nothing.
Yeah, simple.
White Sox season's over. They're 2-3. They lost to the Giants 12-3.
12-3. Ooh,
12-3. Bad luck.
Loss right there. Kenta Maeda on the mound today for the Twins.
And they were at home, too.
And the Giants are a bad team this year because it's 2023. It's not an even year.
Oh, yeah. They're only good on even years. That's right. Yeah. So, season's over.
That's about the Twins. It's 4-0. All games on the road. Haven't even played at home yet. So, it's good news for them. And I do love the rotation. In all honesty, all joking aside, the rotation's good because they've won 4 in a row, and your fifth starter in your rotation isn't just some AAA schmuck that no one's ever heard of. It's like, let's see if he's any good. Or some like 30, like Chris Archer last year, where he's like 35 or whatever, and he's on his 5th team in 4 years. It's Kenta Maeda, who 2 years ago was the runner-up for the Cy Young. Like, again, the rotation is very legit. It's very good and deep with really quality arms. I know Kenta's coming off of a couple of seasons here of injuries, and he's coming back from Tommy John, a serious injury, but a couple of years ago, up there for the Cy Young. So definitely has the talent. We'll see if they can put it together here as they take on the Marlins in game number 2 of that series. But as we mentioned last break, the tease was mock draft madness for you. The latest mock draft from a whole bunch of folks. One of them first, Bruce Feldman of The Athletic with his mock draft. We've seen a couple of them now that are even coming out with the full-on 7-round mock draft. And that's not the case here, but a couple of rounds of the mock draft for Bruce Feldman of The Athletic. This one came out last week, but I wanted to wait for the rest of them to come up before we went through a few of them together. Has the first overall pick. Want to guess who it is? It's really between two folks right now. Do you guys know who this one is?
Coward had Bryce Young.
He did.
I'm going to go C.J. Stroud.
Micah?
I'm going Bryce Young.
C.J. Stroud. Draft aficionado Kyle Emanuel, 1-0 on that one. C.J. Stroud going first. Bryce Young going then second to Houston. Drafting third is Arizona. Will Anderson from Alabama, the edge rusher on that one, outside linebacker. Number 4, Indianapolis Colts taking Anthony Richardson from Florida as the third quarterback off the board. Hearing that they might be trading up as well to 3 to try and get ahead of teams.
Coward had them trading out with the Raiders. I'm not sure if he just thinks that's a good idea, if he has any sources that have actually told him this.
He's mentioned it a couple times on his show. Indy isn't very high on this draft class. Outside the top 2, not overly high on the draft class.
Yeah, but don't people always say like you don't want to plan on ever picking in the top 5?
Yeah.
Like you hope it's a one-off type of thing.
Mhm.
Maybe they'll be right back there next year.
Not be high on the draft class is a smokescreen.
It might be.
And they're very high on the draft. Every single one of them, they're high.
It just seems like you need a quarterback. So why would you trade out?
And the one they draft, if they draft one, we were always high on him. He was number 1 guy on our board.
Right.
We had him ranked higher than C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young.
Well, you have to say that.
Yeah.
Give him some confidence.
The guy who drafted in the 7th round, he was highest guy on our board, dude. We got him in the 7th round.
Everyone else just missed
Look how great we are.
How did you miss him?
We didn't draft him the other times we had picks, but he was number 1 guy on our board. Number 5, Seattle taking Jalen Carter, the defensive lineman, who's only taking visits to top 10 teams. He's not taking any visits outside the top 10. Micah Bendy's shaking his head at that one. It really isn't that uncommon, I feel like, but
I don't care how common or uncommon it is. I think it's disrespectful. Like, it's very Deion Sanders asking, like, wait, what pick are you? Oh, you're 12. I'm not going to be there, so I don't even want to talk to you.
He's saying I don't even want to talk to you. It's just like I'm not going to be there, so I don't want to waste my time.
I believe that he asked the New York Giants, what pick they were. He's like, I won't even be there. So because they asked him to like look over this this huge playbook and like learn it, and he's just like, I don't want to do that.
Well,
that's what I feel like Jalen Carter's doing.
Number 6, Detroit Lions, Tyree Wilson, edge from Texas Tech. You've got the Raiders taking a offensive tackle, first tackle off the board. Lucas Van Ness, the edge from Iowa, going to the Falcons at 8. Chicago Bears, Peter Skoronski, offensive tackle from Northwestern. And then rounding out the top 10, the Philadelphia Eagles. How about this one? Bijan Robinson, running back from Texas to Philadelphia at 10. That seems pretty rich for a running back in modern football.
Trying to think,
but they do run the ball a lot in Philly.
They do run the ball. Who do they have there right now?
They lost Miles Sanders.
They did? Okay.
Rashad Penny. They signed him in free agent.
Okay.
And then it's the
From
Kenneth
San Diego
Gainwells, the Boston Scotts, all those guys.
So they do probably need that number 1 guy. 10
Maybe.
seems a little bit high.
Mhm.
But I don't know. John Robinson's a very good player. And I think he's number 1 running back for a reason. I don't know. 10 seems a little high, though.
Little rich. You notice in the top 10, no Will Levis. Definitely feel like Will Levis is sliding amongst all the quarterbacks right now. No doubt about that one. In this one, again, from Bruce Feldman of The Athletic, Will Levis still available at 17. At 18, he's still there. I would think Detroit would look for get another quarterback, the next guy behind Jared Goff possibly. But they pass on him at 18. And then at number 20, the Tennessee Titans trade up with Seattle to get Will Levis, quarterback from Kentucky.
He's going to be the interesting one, without a doubt. I think him should take that back. I think they all are because we don't really know who's going to be number 1. I feel like we usually have a better idea, and I think we will once we get closer. But where do people have Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, Hendon Hooker? Because I'm hearing all kinds of reports now that it kind of seemed like it was Levis. It was at 3, and then Richardson took that over, and now maybe Levis is at 5. And it's just where are they actually going to land? Is there going to be a team that we feel like reaches a little bit? Maybe there's a team that falls in love with one of them. Takes him higher than we think.
And on this mock
or does
draft,
he slide?
From Bruce Feldman, first thing he mentions, Tennessee, seeing the Vikings in position to draft a quarterback, trade their 2nd and 3rd round picks to move up ahead of the Vikings to get the heir apparent to Ryan Tannehill. So he's saying teams out there are looking at the Vikings as potentially taking a quarterback. They want to jump him.
Which you say is not going to happen. You've said that on the show.
If Will Levis is there at 20, it'd be interesting. Do you get aggressive and move up a little bit? Don't have many picks to move up. But do you try and he's someone I'd be willing to take a risk on, someone to consider a year and learn a little bit, potentially. A huge arm. he's got a cannon for an arm, but decision making maybe not quite there.
Micah says no.
Micah's not a fan.
I've seen him throw, and he just
want to break down his mechanics for us.
I would love to. Okay. I just see like that elbow drops a little too much, and he sails balls, and he's just very inaccurate. So he reminds me of Sam Darnold coming out of college, of he has these flashes, but the inaccuracy. If you're inaccurate in college, it's even tougher in the NFL. It's even tougher.
He did lose his top receivers going into this year. I think it has
have a
something
lot
to
of
do with
help.
his
Yeah, that's been one of the things
inaccuracy.
that people
Like
are
Josh
talking about.
Allen didn't have great accuracy in college.
He didn't. That is true.
Yeah. You never know.
Josh Allen got a lot better.
Some people can learn it. Some people can't.
People are thinking Josh Allen was a bust. After
Brian
a year or
Dable's
two.
gone. Brian Dable saved Josh Allen's career.
Josh Allen was still pretty good last year without Brian Dable.
A lot of turnovers.
Maybe not quite as good.
A lot of turnovers. That decision making went down without Brian Dable there.
But at number 23, the Vikings taking Hendon Hooker, quarterback from Tennessee. This is what Bruce Feldman has to say. Minnesota needs help in the secondary. Oh, speaking the truth there. But this is such a deep draft at corner. The Vikings could have a hard time passing up the player who eventually takes over for Kirk Cousins. 6'3", 217-pound Hooker is coming off an ACL injury that shortened his fantastic senior season. He threw for almost 3,000 yards and had a 27-2 touchdown to interception ratio. Also ran for 430 yards and 5 touchdowns. The Vikings don't need to play him now, so he can keep healing and have time to develop in Kevin O'Connell's system. I'm told that Hooker shined in NFL QB interviews with coaches at the Combine, displaying a lot of maturity and excellent grasp of not only the Vols offense, but also his former offense at Virginia Tech, where he started his career. I wouldn't be shocked if Hooker gets picked higher than Levis, as some NFL coaches I talk to like his game more than the Kentucky QB.
So I don't know if we have time to do this right now, but like I think I asked you guys this before. How would you feel about that? Hendon Hooker, two diehard Vikings fans right here.
I mean, it would be exciting because quarterback. Like,
They're always exciting.
You always like a quarterback. It's an exciting pick. I'd be trading down to get him. I think he'll still be there second round because of the injury.
Really?
I
don't know.
I'd be willing to trade down. There's a lot of risk. The other thing about him in the offense they ran, it was a lot of half-field reads. He wasn't really reading the entire field.
That's fair.
At the NFL, you're going to be reading the entire field. There's going to be different defenses thrown at you. There's a lot of 1 and 2 read offense.
But you're sitting for a year.
Half-field read with Justin Jefferson. He's on half the field. That's
true.
your read.
Yeah.
Is he open?
Unless Kirk Cousins can't even do that part.
But
So,
here's
I'm
the
good
part
with you.
that I like about Hendon Hooker, and I've been coming around to it now.
Uh-oh.
There's zero pressure with like pulling Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has had good season after good season. It's not like when the Niners drafted Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo was kind of struggling and like the fans were at Jimmy G's throat. That's not really how it is. It's not the same situation that the Vikings have. Kirk Cousins has been playing well and is coming off a really good season. So there's no pressure to be like, hey, you got to throw Hendon Hooker in. You got to do it. The Vikings have a different situation. Kirk Cousins can play the whole first year. He rarely gets hurt, knock on wood. So Hendon Hooker at 23 doesn't sound too bad to me.
By the way, another mock draft. Just do this one quickly before we got to take our final break. Todd McShay of ESPN. Hopefully I know everybody there a little bit. That was the Mel Kiper impression. His mock draft, Bryce Young going number 1, C.J. Stroud going 2, so the opposite of Bruce Feldman here. Has Anthony Richardson at 4, Will Levis going 7 to the Raiders in that one. Same
So he
spot that
also
Colin
has
Coward had him going, by the way, at least location. But Colin had him trading up for him. And then at 23, he has the Vikings taking Hendon Hooker.
Well,
It's
a
turned
trend.
into a trend. This is a trend developing. And so his latest mock draft had the Vikings going with Hendon Hooker there as well in mock draft 4.0 for Todd McShay. Definitely a little bit of a trend. And in that one, it was also a 2-round mock draft from Todd McShay. One thing very interesting for Bison fans, in the 2 rounds, no Cody Mauch. Had him drop into at least the 3rd round. I feel like that's a miss. I think when you're doing a lot of these mock drafts, you're thinking about, oh, wait, there's that Georgia guy. Oh, what the USC guy? Oh, I got to put the Ohio State guy in there. Maybe the NDSU guy slips the mind a little bit. I still think Cody Mauch's going to be a 2nd-round pick. I don't think he gets past the end of the 2nd.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because his versatility, playing so many positions.
I just don't know what happened. People were talking about him at the end of the 1st round.
Yeah.
What happened? What changed? I mean, he did nothing but good things in the lead up. Did that many people do things better? I don't think so. Not from what I've heard. I think that might be a little bit of a miss. We hope it's a little bit of a miss.
Get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
I think it's the NDSU FCS thing again, and people. I don't think teams are forgetting about him, but maybe some of the draft experts out there are. But definitely a trend with the Vikings and Hendon Hooker, something to talk about maybe later on this week. But tomorrow on the program, we're going to have a lot of great guests as well. We'll give you the rundown for tomorrow when we take a break, and then come back for our final segment next.
Bison Nation, your exclusive home for North Dakota State athletics. Bison 1660.
At Batteries Plus, we power family road trips. We power bedtime stories. We power our local hospitals. We power connections with friends. We do more than replace batteries and fix phones and tablets. We help our neighbors power their lives. How powerful is that? Visit Batteries Plus in-store, curbside, and online for fast and reliable phone and tablet repair. Learn more at batteriesplus.com.
Looking for the ultimate relaxation experience? Jacuzzi Hot Tubs of Fargo will help you find your perfect hot tub. At Jacuzzi Hot Tubs of Fargo, their staff is knowledgeable and you'll always have personalized service. You won't be able to just see their wide variety of sizes and styles. You'll be able to sink into the full experience and try them for yourself. Plus, they have so many financing options, so owning a jacuzzi is more affordable than ever before. Stop by today and experience the jacuzzi difference, or go online at jacuzzihottubsoffargo.com.
At Oxbow Country Club, the golf is just the beginning. Oxbow Country Club prides itself on being not just family-focused, but family-centric. Oxbow's golf is second to none in the area, with range balls and carts included in your membership. Oxbow also features a pool area that will have you enjoying the summer poolside with drinks and food. No matter if you're an avid golf family or just looking for a great place to socialize with the family, Oxbow is right for you. Join today at oxbowcc.com.
The kickoff to summer is coming. Happy Harry's Rib Fest. Outdoors at the Fargo Dome. Delicious ribs, cold drinks, and live music. Wednesday, June 7th, it's Parmalee. Thursday, June 8th, it's Jimmy Allen. Friday, June 9th, rock out with Fuel. And Saturday, June 10th, party with Lynn. Concerts are just $5. Happy Harry's Rib Fest, June 7th through the 10th at the Fargo Dome. Parmalee, take my name, Jimmy Allen, give you my best shot. Fuel, and Lynn. See you soon at Happy Harry's Rib Fest. Thanks to Jiffy Lube of Fargo, Cass County Electric, Preference Employment Solutions, Hot Spring Spas, Horwin Auto Group, GoGoRental.com, and Horn Plastics.
Dakota Refrigeration, now known as DRI, has been serving Minnesota, the Dakotas, and Montana for over 4 decades. Locally owned and operated since 1974, DRI is a full-service source for your refrigeration, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and electrical service needs. From the entryway to the kitchen, from hot to cold, from dreary to bright, DRI has you covered. DRI, formerly Dakota Refrigeration, with locations in Fargo, Bismarck, and Minot, online at dacref.com.
Bison 1660.
Final segment on the show today. Mentioned the Masters pairings earlier in the show. If you missed that, Tom Hoagie's going to be golfing with Phil Mickelson. The opening rounds of the Masters. That's pretty cool. Tiger Woods with Victor Hovland and Xander Schauffele. Another very good one. He tees off a little earlier. Tom Hoagie is at 11:24 Central. I think Tiger was about 9:30, 9:35 Central, something like that, more in the morning. So his round will not be at the end, but it'll probably be about midway through when we start the show. Somewhere close to that, you would think.
We're making our picks tomorrow, correct?
Correct. Tomorrow on the program.
Do you have your list dialed in?
You think I make a list? That's cute.
You're right. You just look at the start times and pick at random.
Oh, just make look at the favorites, look at the odds.
And you look at, I was going to say Vegas odds, and it's like, Andy, I'll take that. You're going to have to go to like plus 7,000 because we have 5.
I don't just go down the line. I do go further. I look further down, and then like, oh yeah, that guy, he's been playing well. I have reasoning. I do have some reasonings behind some. There are some stats that go in.
We pick 4, correct?
4 and a wild card.
So 25 people?
25. You, me, Micah, Chris Hansen, John Austin from Bob 95 will be in here tomorrow at noon.
I should have probably mentioned this. The little bit of it's not breaking news, but what Tiger said during his press conference, says game's in a better place, his endurance is in a better place. His leg aches worse than it did a year ago.
2 out of 3 ain't bad. Game's better, endurance is better.
I don't really understand.
2 out of 3.
My expectations for Tiger are at an all-time low. If he makes a cut, I will be thrilled.
Tinfoil hat. He's setting expectations low.
He doesn't do that.
He is swerving you, Kyle. It's a mental game with the fans.
I hope he is, but I'm not picking him. I'm not going to pick him. I'm not going to pick him.
It's for the story.
Say it now.
I'm not picking him. You should pick him.
When
I'm
your
not gonna.
5th pick comes around and he's still sitting out there and the rest of the good guys have been picked.
You want me to do that? Look, I hope I'm wrong.
Do our honorable mentions get more points?
No.
Dang it.
So why
are
they
swapped? We'll go through it tomorrow. We'll go through it tomorrow. Tomorrow at noon, that's when the picks are happening. Also, open for Tyler Roller, a coach from NDSU, tomorrow at 11:30. That will do it for the show today. Coming up next for you, it's Colin Cowherd with The Herd. This has been The Insiders, brought to you by Proseed. If you need seed, think Proseed. Online at proseed.net. Colin Cowherd and The Herd with Fox Sports Radio coming your way next.
Cashway is in growth mode. If you're an experienced route driver, but you're tired of being away from your family all week, a career at Cashway is the perfect place for you. With above average hours